All right. Sorry, guys. I don't have a good excuse. The best I've got is that I heated up my dinner too much in the microwave, and it was so hot that I couldn't eat it fast enough. I mean, that's legitimately why I'm late, so sorry. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I could have blamed it on the... I was just teaching a drum lesson in the basement, but that ended at like 6:45, so I really got nothing. Sorry about that. Yeah, no excuses. I know. No excuses. Hey, guys, on your way in, please hit that like button. We're going to have a great night. I'm so excited about tonight's live stream. My palate's going to be a little wacky right now, so I'm trying to just... I mean, I know this isn't like plain sparkling water, but I'm trying to clear my palate. I just had some leftovers that have a lot of spices in them. So not hot spicy, just full of aromatic spices. So give me a couple minutes here. We'll hang out, we'll chat, we'll get some more folks in the live stream. I'll kind of run down what we're going to do tonight. I'll run down the giveaway. I've got some samples to unwrap as well. I just got a package from Jimmy Copeland. I don't know if Jimmy's going to be hanging out tonight, but if he's in here, thank you, Jimmy. Wise Guy 2 says, Cam was dropping a deuce. I actually was not. I need to, but we'll be good. I'll make it through. All right. What did that say? Oh, what did that say? Yeah, John Cloud. I thought that's what I saw. All right. So what do I'm all over the place. But first pour of the night, I think is going to be a bottle kill. I don't know. Maybe there's 2 pours left in this. Let's see. Going back to the classics. Back to the start of every stream. Oh yeah, there's 2 pours. So we're not going to kill this yet. But so close. I've had this bottle for over a year now. And I have greatly enjoyed that Eagleware store pick. It's a great pick. All right, so let's talk about very quickly, what we're going to be doing tonight. First and foremost, you saw on the thumbnail that we've got a couple bigger bottles, in particular Jack Daniel's 12. I'm going to give you my first impressions tonight. Not quite first impressions. I've had a few pours, you can see, but I wanted to have an idea of what we were in for. But I haven't really sat with this and picked it apart at all. So that'll be fun. The other one that I've got, I don't have a bottle of this, but I have a sample. This is the Master's Keep Voyage. And I might be late to the party on some of these, but that's okay. The channel's been up and down. So, latest Master's Keep, price increase, rum finish, 10-year-old. Yeah, 10-year-old bourbon. So there we go. We've got that. And a little treat. Those of you at Pours in the Park, you've probably tasted this, or maybe you picked one of these up. This is the very first barrel from Virtue Spirits bourbon, 5-year-old Maryland distilled Sagamore, 119 proof. So we're going to get into this tonight as well. I don't have the rye with me just yet. It's going to get here tomorrow. The rye 1, which is the very, very, very limited barrel. There was 60 or 70 bottles of rye in there. So it was super short barrel. 7 years old. So it shouldn't really be that short, but it's a crazy ride. I did taste that at Pours in the Park. That's going to get here tomorrow. Basically, we're set up very well for a fun live stream next week. I might have a blind. I don't know if people are sending blinds this week or, in the next couple days. Always happy to do one. We might not even need it next week. But if I do get something, maybe we'll work that in as well. But I've got plenty of stuff on the way. New bottles, cool bottles, stuff I'm just excited to taste on these streams. And speaking of these live streams, we are good to go for the next 4 Thursdays after this. So this is the first 8 p.m. regular time Drums and Drams live stream in a little while. And we've got 5 interrupted weeks to do this. So that's going to be great. There will also be 1 or 2 extra Tuesday streams within the next 5 weeks as well. So it's going to be great. All right, let me check the chat. I know I'm missing a lot of people. My palate has kind of calmed down from dinner. My talking and stalling worked. So cheers, guys. A little Eagleware store pick at the night started. let me know what you're sipping on this evening. If you're going to be joining me with the Jack 12, the Virtue Bourbon 1, or anything else. There's some other stuff I'll tell you in just a second, but I want to get some whiskey going. All right. So Travis says, cheers to the future Matt Madness Whiskey Mania Invitational. Travis, and for everybody else here, I don't know if this has been announced or not. We were going to do the Matt Madness Champions, Battle Royale tomorrow night. Me, Grease, Matt, and who won this last year? I can't remember. We were all going to face each other tomorrow night, but it's not my place to share why that's not happening. But there were some personal things with some of the people in there, just like family stuff. So unfortunately, we're going to postpone that. We don't have a date set for it, but that's pretty much all the information I can give because I just don't know how much I should share because it's personal stuff for the people involved. Sandeep, what is up? Sugar Kitty, Rocket Boy, John Cloud, Peter White. I see all you guys. Thanks for being here tonight. Anyone seen a Jack Daniel's 12 in person? No, I have not. I paid secondary. Although, truthfully, secondary on this bottle has come down quite a bit. And that gives me some hope. Mike's got the 10 and the 12. I don't have a batch 2 Jack 10. So, and I've already talked about batch 1, so I'm not going to review that tonight, but it will be in the sample giveaway. Let's see. Is Amy in here? Amy, I hate to ask you this. I don't like to ask. Is there any way you could track Super Chats? And if not, that is totally cool. I can pull up a spreadsheet. But before I talk about the giveaway, I just want to see, if you can track or if I need to do it myself. Happy to do it myself, and I'm sorry to ask you, Amy. Joe the Sample Guy, what's up? Russ, we got William Molnar in here. Jason Harris, finally here for a live. Well, thanks for jumping in. Of course, Amy. Who else is in here? Mark Vasco. Yeah, sorry. There I am being late next to Mark Vasco's comments. I'm getting there. I'm catching up. What's up, Jeff Perkins, Jeff Smith, Dennis. Keep going. I saw Stu. I saw. Yep. Clay, what is up, man? Yeah, I hope you guys are having a good week so far. I have the next couple weeks off. I start some work back tomorrow with this or next week with the symphony, but it's just youth orchestra stuff, which is easy. No gigs for the next 5 weeks. Yeah, Dennis, I do have too much time on my hands right now with Sarah being gone. I miss her though. Jeez, I miss her. And Clay, thanks. Yeah, the Devils killed it. I found a video on YouTube for that. The video is called Definitely Not the Blue Devils 2023 Finals Show. So maybe that'll get him past the copyrights. All right, I'm going to keep scrolling, guys. I want to just get caught up. So thank you all for being here. If I don't say your name, I'll see you later in the chat if you stick around. John, note, batch 4 Russell's 13 is the only batch that I have not tried. I have a sample of batch 5 from Young Pei Chang, but I have to save some of that for Sarah. He wrote on the label for Sarah, so that's awesome. When she gets home, she's going to try it, and then batch 4 is the only one. I got to find a sample of batch 4 if I can, because I would love to be able to finally do a comprehensive review of everyone that's been out on a video. Okay. What's up, Jimmy? Dude, all right. Jimmy sent me some samples. This literally got here just a second ago. Jimmy, thank you for this, man. 3 fat samples here, all wrapped up. I'll unwrap them right now. Sorry if it's like a little ASMR here under the mic. These are pretty easy to unwrap, though. Thanks for that, Jimmy. Sometimes I go a little crazy when I pack mine, and people tell me that it's over the top. Okay. What's up, Matt Porter? Oh, Amy, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jay, thanks for getting us started on the Super Chats. I'll talk about the giveaway here in just a second, but we'll definitely get you in there, Jay. I loved meeting you, Jay. It was a lot of fun, dude. Hanging out. Okay. Tommy, thanks again for your kindness at Pours. You rock. Thanks, man. Dude, I loved hanging out at Pours. All right, here we go. Slipping Jimmy Copeland. So, Jimmy, maybe I'll taste some of these tonight. Oh, you talked about this on Monday's stream. Widow Jane the Vault's 15-year batch 199 proof. That's a badass sample. K. Luke batch 5 high and low rye. I don't know anything about this, and that's very exciting. And then Prideful Goat 15-year. Hell yeah, man. This is that mystery mash. 114.1 proof batch 3. Oh, dude. All right, Jimmy. Thank you, man. Maybe I'll start off with that Widow Jane because it's a little lower proof. That'll be a nice start to the evening. All right, giveaway time. Let me talk about it very quickly. Every $5 super chat's going to get you entered to win. I'll get a banner up here in a second. But basically giving away 2 sample packs of tonight's pours. We might not even get to all of those pours, and that's okay. First up, Jack 12 in the giveaway. There's going to be 8 pours in there. I might throw some bonus. Who knows? Jack 12, the Virtue Bourbon 1. It's good. I'm just going to tell you right now before we get to it. Matt Porter's Boulder Pick, the Mountain Goat. All right. Little Hardin's Creek, Jacob's Well. I know it's the older one. The new ones are on the way, I promise. And then 4 other pours of some of my favorites from this year. My Bardstown pick that I got, Peerless High Rye, Jack Barrel Strength Rye. I'll throw in the Jack 10 as well. And there'll probably be 2 bonus pours in there from some bottles to get here tomorrow. So let's say it's 10. Let's say you get 10 samples in the giveaway. 2 winners tonight. Some epic pours in there. I'll get the banner up here in just a second. All right. First things first. Because of Jimmy's package getting here. Well, that's just not how I wanted to say that. We're gonna try this Widow Jane 15-year batch 1. I haven't had any of these like high age Widow Janes. So let's see what this is all about. Let's do a little more than that. Okay. So much easier to get into than a cam sample, says Jeb. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jeb just got a package from me and said that the samples were perhaps overpacked. All right, and Jimmy, I don't know if you have this info handy or if anybody else does, but the Widow Jane 15, all of these older Widow Janes, I believe are a mix of Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe Indiana. Let me know if you guys know you don't need to know percentages or anything, but just like if you have the states even that are constituting the blend, that would be awesome. Jimmy, put me in. Thanks, man. Oh, wow. Okay. Got a good idea of one distillery that might be involved in this blend. Lito, what is up, dude? Jimmy, thank you for the $10 super chat, man. So Amy will get you in for 2. All right. Lito, it's good to see your name popping in here. JG says, Cam's my superhero sidekick. I don't know about that. How about you're my sidekick, Jay? Oh, my goodness. All right, so Widow Jane, 15-year. William Molnar. Amy, William Molnar is in for 10 entries. And a very generous $50 super chat from Will Molnar in the old Venmo. Thank you, dude. Totally not streaming this while in the shower getting ready to go out for my birthday. Dude, happy birthday. Have a good time. You know, that's hilarious. Thanks, dude. All right, so Widow Jane, 15-year. On the nose, you can tell there's some George Dickel involved, but I'm going to get past that because there's a lot of other stuff going on in here that smells very nice. It's an interesting combination. At 99 proof, you would expect this to maybe not have as much spice as it does on the nose. And in particular, when you think of George Dickel being involved in a blend, which it absolutely has to be here. If it's not, then I'll eat my words. You don't expect this amount of spice at 99 proof. It's extremely there's just a lot of white pepper, kind of oak spice, white pepper. Right behind that, though, super sticky, like sweet caramel. I don't know, what would you even say? Almost like cinnamon rolls. Like, it's just really, really sweet and rich behind that spice. Yeah, there is a lingering, slight minerality into the background. But I think sometimes in these blends that have George Dickel involved, not sure stated distillate. I know Total Wine had it priced wrong at $143, and it was supposed to be a bill more. Dude, that's awesome. And what it reminds me of is actually and this is just off the rip. Like, I don't know if this is, I have the sample up here. I could do a comparison. The barrel gold label that Matt sent, when was that? It had to be during Matt Madness. It had to be during the round with the Fireball, I think. Matt, if you're still in here, let me know if that's the case. I seem to recall you sent the barrel gold label, and that's the bottle they sent you. And it's a really good whiskey. It's just, you can smell the Dickel in it, but it's blended extremely well. This reminds me of that kind of a profile where there is that minerality hanging out in there, but because there's so much sweetness in here, it just kind of adds a texture as opposed to so much of that minerality that it gets funky and kind of gross. Matt says that's the case. I'll have to see which color sample that. I think it might have been the brown bottle, but I need to look. All right, let's taste it. There is some dark fruit hanging out in the background too, a little plum. Maybe a lot of plum and some green apple. This is good. Green apple candy, like candy green apple, but rich plum. All that caramel sweetness, kind of cinnamon roll thing. Really good amount of spice on the front, so whatever. Yeah, that's good. For those, oh man, that keeps going. Oh, it really keeps going. It's not all Dickel though, is it? Jimmy says 15 is, so 17-year Dickel, maybe the 15 is Kentucky. I'll tell you what, that's front to back on the palate. At 99 proof, that's about as perfect of a drinking experience as you can get. Subjectively speaking, you may or may not like the flavors in it. If you're a Dickel bloodhound and you absolutely, at all costs, cannot stand that note, even a little bit, this is totally not for you. I have learned to, I think, at this level of Dickel in the blend, appreciate and be okay with the bottle, and I could sit down and really enjoy this. On the other hand, like a Rare Hair, the Dickel 15-year single barrels, I can't drink those. Those are kind of gross. This is very nice. And thanks for sharing it, Jimmy. Let me see if I can grab that barrel gold sample. So these are the remaining sample bottles from my Matt Madness spanking that I got in the Fireball round. You'll notice that the only one that I don't have is the blue one, because that's the one that had that Fireball in it, and I threw that away because I was pissed. I think it's in this brown bottle. Let me check. Yeah. All right. That'll be a cool comparison. Let's do it real quick. Why not? All right, so here is Widow Jane. Let me just reorganize for just a second. I realize I need to still get that banner up for the giveaway. $80 people hanging out tonight. Thank you all for being here. Hit that like button if you have not already, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. Good. Got enough there. We'll just get a smidge more Widow Jane in the glass. Amy, we've got... let me see. Jeez, I'm pouring this all over the place. I'm nailing it. We have 4 entries from Keith Thompson, Amy. A $20 super chat. Keith, thank you so much, man. Just pouring whiskey on the table. Doing what I do best. Yeah, no, Clay, I'm not bitter at all about the Fireball. Jay says, Dickel makes me laugh like a 14-year-old. Noah says, $5 super chat. Thank you, Noah. You were the best whiskey tuber, in my opinion. Curious if you ever tried any Stolzle Weller juice. Noah, thank you for those kind words, man. I don't know about best. You know, I might be the most something. You can insert whatever adjective you want, but I don't know about best. But I appreciate that, man. My favorite whiskey tuber is Matt Porter, so you know, just saying. We're best friends, so that's kind of cool. Thanks, Noah. Have you ever tried any Stolzle Weller? I have tried some Stolzle Weller stuff. It'd be hard for me to kind of think of the various ones. They've all been a little bit different, you know. Matt actually sent me a 10-year, very extra old Fitz, maybe, or maybe it was 12-year. I can't remember. I am actually looking at a sample of 86 proof Stolzle Weller old Fitz. So I've had a few. I'm not like, you couldn't give me a Stolzle Weller product and ask me if I wouldn't be able to tell you it's Stolzle Weller. I'm not like tuned into what that distillery profile is. I know I've enjoyed most of what I've had. Some of it's been good, fine, and then some of it's been unbelievable. So just like anything else, and maybe I'm preaching to the choir here, Noah. I don't know exactly why you asked that, but you know, I think it's just like anything else. There's really good Stolzle Weller. There's really average Stolzle Weller. I don't know that I've had bad. Matt says you have terrible taste, Cam. I know. Amy, thanks for getting Will and Keith there. Brian says, Wellers, what's up, dude? Sorry for taking a steaming dump on Sealbox on Facebook the other day. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to be such an angry grandpa about that. Well, hey, Roscoe. What is up, man? All right, let's do this comparison very quickly. I have some more super chats. I think Lucy wants in. That's unusual. Sarah's not even home. Usually, Lucy wants nothing to do with me. Hey, you want to come in here? Oh, I think she's afraid of the storm. She usually comes in here and hides in the closet when it's raining. Poor kitty. I've got some more super chats to get to, but let's do this comparison. So the Widow Jane I like. Hey, Lucy. Oh, are you okay? Oh, come here. All right, now let's do the Barrel Gold label, which I cannot remember the proof on this one, but I'm sure it's higher than the 99 of the Widow Jane. Yeah. This one, interestingly, there's a little bit more of like a... The word flambe came to mind. I don't even know what that means, actually, so... I don't know. I'm not going to use it, but there you go. It's a little more fruity, the Barrel Gold label. Yeah, and I would say that the Widow Jane kind of leans more on traditional kind of caramel. Again, like that cinnamon roll note. Barrel Gold label, definitely fruitier, a little bit more vibrant jumping out of the glass. I'm sure it has a higher proof. I got to give it to the Barrel Gold label on this. That's a really good pour. I mean, even if you are a Dickel Bloodhound, that's a really good pour. So... Damn. Anyways, Jimmy, sorry to put the Widow Jane in a little competition here, but I thought it'd be interesting because they're both these really high-age blends, very, very expensive, although the gold label is like $500. But it's like Paul says, but not $500 delicious. Absolutely not. If this was priced at that like $200 to $250, even with it being like, you know, quite a bit of Dickel in the blend, seemingly, I think it deserves like... Let's be really wide. $150 to $250 on the price. I'm there. $500's insane. You can do a lot of damage with $500 in the world of whiskey, and that damage doesn't need to be one bottle of Barrel Gold label. Hey, Lucy, you out of here? Oh, we got a sad kitty on our hands. She misses Sarah so bad. She gets depressed when Sarah's gone. It makes me ugh, pulls at my heartstrings. Jeb, you are one of the whiskey tubers out there. No typo. Thanks, Jeb. Nice, dude. I love an extra medium comment like that, you know? Just straight down the middle. Okay. Amy, we got a few more in here. A few more super chats. Let's get to it real quick. Jimmy, I'll probably come back to some of your samples a little bit later in the stream, but I do want to get to some main event pours since it is now, we're about 30 minutes into the stream. All right. But seriously, Jimmy, thanks for sharing that, dude. And I can't wait to get into these other ones, especially the K. Luke, which I just don't know anything about it. Where's Clay at? Clay, just good old me. Amy, we've got a $20 super chat from just good old me, Clay. 4 entries there. Thank you, Clay. I gotcha. And then we got one PayPal. A $50 super chat, Amy, from... from Lido. Thank you, Lido. 10 entries for you, man. I'm not as active as I'd like to be on your streams, but still with the channel 100%. Cheers. Thanks, bro. Cheers to that. Okay. I think the most logical place to go now is to the Wild Turkey Masters Keep Voyage. So let's do that. Let me know if you guys have tried this one. I've had a teeny little pour out of this sample bottle, but I didn't take any notes. I didn't think hard about it. I think I was watching some UFC fights or maybe like, I don't know, Contender Series. I was watching something. So I wasn't thinking too much about this. Interesting. Okay. Whiskey Uncensored, what's up? You're not invisible. Sorry, I'm really like hardcore jumping around the chat right now because I feel like I'm ADHDing out. I can't get through anything in my brain. Clay says, Re-Venmo, off the chance I win, please offer it to someone who has not won. Thanks, man. I'm sure, I guess what we'll do is we'll just, if you win it, we'll just roll down to the next person. So that's the best way to do that. Thanks, Clay. Brian Walsh in for 2 entries, $10 super chat. Thank you, Brian. Sugar Kitty. All right, Masters Keep Voyage, 10-year Kentucky straight bourbon from Wild Turkey, 106 proof, and 14-year Appleton Jamaican pot still casks. All right. Well, the rum is, and I'll preface by saying this. I'm not a big rum fan at all, and rum-finished bourbons have been some of the worst, not just bourbon, whiskey, especially Sagamore Rum Rye, the regular release. Hated it, thought it was disgusting, but the distillery, God, I got the belches. It's from dinner. But the distillery exclusive, the Rum Agricole, however you say that was in a blind a couple weeks ago, that was incredible. So I am not fully against anything rum finished. I really enjoyed the plantation rum finish from Bardstown Bourbon Company, which I think is a combination of 2 of the worst things ever, Dickel and rum. I'm fairly certain that's what's going on with that. So with that said, I'm going to give this a fair shake, but the first thing I smell is it just smells like rum on the nose. What's crazy about it, though, is as you kind of get into it a little bit more, you do smell turkey funk in the back. It essentially smells like rum, and then there's an after smell of Russell's 13. That's kind of what the nose of this is like. Yeah, and Sugar Kitty says Irish whiskey finished in rum is not so bad. I've not tried any of that, and I've only had very little rum finished Scotch. So, and I think that's going to be different. A lot of these American whiskeys, in my experience, I could be totally off. I think a lot of American whiskeys take on the finishing cask more heavily and in a quicker manner, I guess, than some other world whiskeys. And it could just be the management, the time in the cask, could be a lot of factors. but I find that we often overfinish things here. And I'm not saying Scotch doesn't, but I don't ever remember tasting a rum finished Scotch that I went, oh, that's disgusting. And I've just had a lot of American whiskey rum finish that I say that about. Okay, Toshi, what's up, man? Happy to see you're live. Going to be working late tonight, so some pours and good content will be the remedy for a long day that keeps me going. Thanks, dude. And Toshi, I think I saw a super chat come through for you, or from you. Oh my goodness, guys, you are killing the super chats tonight. Holy crap. Amy, Toshi's in for 10 entries. A $50 super chat. Thank you, Toshi. Kyle McDowell. Kyle McDowell is in for 4 entries, Amy. A $20 super chat. Thank you, Toshi. Thank you, Kyle. William Molnar, did you just jump in again? William Molnar's in for another $50 super chat. Thank you, guys. Holy crap. Wow. Cheers to that. I'm just going to taste this. Oh, that tastes really good. That tastes really, really, really good. Wow. The nose and the palate are completely different on this. Bourbon Retriever. Wow, that is really good. The finish is incredible. I did not expect that. And I don't remember this from the other night, so I'm cool with this. I don't think O'Malley wins, no. I mean, it would be kind of hilarious if he... I don't care if Aljo or O'Malley win. I don't care about either one of them. I think Aljo, I just don't like him. He's been through some stuff. I know. I just don't like him. And O'Malley, I just don't like him either. I don't know. There's Kyle. Dude, thank you for the super chat, man. Hope you're having a good evening. Yeah, Matt passed on a voyage at $325. Yeah, it's a good call. It is too much money, man. Toshi looking at it for $350. Secondary on this bottle is like mid 400s, and that's after it came down a little bit. Jeb says, I think Campari's trying to play us and see what they can get away with. Yeah, I am interested to know I know they experiment. They've done the Oloroso sherry finish. Cornerstone to me wasn't super experimental, but it was different, like a very different profile. So, I mean, they do experiment with this line. Oh, and one, the Toasted, which I thought was just not very good. It was completely forgettable whiskey for $200. So, I don't know, man. Mike, with a little knowledge here. Thank you, Mike. I believe Fred Minnick said the finishing in the rum cask was only for 5 weeks. The nose, if that's only 5 weeks, that's crazy. Because the nose is just rum. It is taming down on the nose now, but I think that's probably because I'm getting used to it, and I just sipped it. I can't imagine that it's that stark of a difference, in the glass only for 5 to 10 minutes. So palate, it starts off just with huge nutmeg, a little bit of peanut butter, but big kind of just pie crust baking spice all the way at the front of the palate. But it's really, really sweet. So even as spicy as the front of the palate is, just from the base bourbon, what the rum is doing on the palate for me is just emphasizing sweetness, kind of generally. It's not making it taste rummy up front. It's just here is a pie crust, and now just add booze. And I think, in my mind, tell me if you guys associate these things together or if I'm completely off base. I associate the flavors of rum with booziness. And I know that might just sound like duh, but for instance, I don't know, when you're growing up and you've never had any kind of alcohol before, and then you smell it and you're just smelling alcohol and boozy type things. rum comes to mind, right? So this is like a boozy whiskey, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does. Like, also some bourbon barrel finished stouts, and I'm not a big beer drinker anymore, but some really, really intense bourbon barrel finished stouts can give me that kind of booziness to it, you know? That's the best way that I can describe it. So it looks like Sugar Kitty's had some terrible Talisker rum finished scotch. Even it was green even. Holy crap. I don't think I've had the rum finished Glenmorangie. Wow, 675 clay is way, way too much, man. Okay. Let's see. You can see the writing on the wall after the Russell's Reserve single rickhouse pricing. Yeah, Lito, you're completely on the money there, man. I do think it's interesting that the experiment has worked to some degree, where if you raise the SRPs of these bottles, secondary is not as crazy. But I don't know that that's actually a product of the SRPs going up so much as it is there are so many special releases coming out nowadays, and an increasingly larger number of them every year because of new distilleries opening, new experimental this, and just inventory going up as we expand these distilleries and their rickhousing, that the secondary market is going through these weird lulls now where people just aren't buying things. Even at the shit's getting discounted quite a bit and people are not biting. Now, it is in flux all the time, but to see so many of these dead spots, it's like the doldrums of the secondary market. I do find it interesting. Correlation's not causation in this case of like these rising SRPs. I wish I did know fully the cause of these things, but I think we just have a lot of tired consumers on the secondary market. And like from personal experience, I've just spent so much money on secondary that I'm like, I got to dial this shit back. And I learn that more and more every month. But, you know, the fact that you just can't keep up with this stuff now. That's really what it comes down to. David Babcock, thank you for the $5 super chat. Just thought I'd say hi. Hello to you, man. Cheers and thanks for that $5 super chat. And Copper Wolf jumping in for 4 entries. Cheers, Cam. I came in a little late, so I'll have to rewatch the beginning of the stream for any tasting. You haven't missed much, man. I'm moving slow tonight. Sorry, everybody. But I appreciate you being here. And Copper Wolf, I appreciate that super chat. We have 111 in here, which is pretty wild. So thank you, guys. I'm sipping on this Voyage right now. I'm going to wrap it up here in a second. But hit that like if you haven't already. This is one of the bigger streams. So thanks. Jeb, I associate the smell with college mistakes. Mine would be Southern Comfort. I can't smell that stuff. All right, so Aiden says, Jack 12 was an insane special release for $80. Why spend $300 on Voyage or even just Rare Breed versus Voyage? Well, I am still going to pick Voyage over Rare Breed, even though the rum on the nose is extremely strong. But yeah, you're right. Given the price points, it's not even a question. And this will be a good segue for us to get into the Jack 12. Aiden, maybe, should we do that next? Is there, you know what? I think we're probably going to need to do the Virtue bottle next. Just given the flavor profiles and stuff. The Jack 12 is so much older. So we'll probably go to Virtue next. But that's cool. We got time. 40 minutes in. All right. Yeah, I mean, Voyage is good. It's fine. The nose, I'm not thrilled about. I think the palate's great. I'm trying to put my finger on, there's a note in here. You know, I could be generic and say tropical fruit and coconut rum notes. But there's something kind of, you know, like lemon meringue pie. Well, no, I don't want to go there. It's not quite lemon. There's some kind of like Cool Whip, tropical fruit and Cool Whip kind of thing on the nose for this one. Along with that, again, that kind of boozy pie crust thing. The palate's so good, though. Amy, thank you for the reminder on the giveaway banner. Yes. I got to change it to not say rise. Gets you 1 entry for an epic sample pack of tonight's pours. Even though some of the pours I can't give away. I can't give away the Voyage. I don't have a bottle, but you get the picture. There we go. And again, we got 2 sample packs in the giveaway. Jack 12, Virtue Bourbon 1, Hardin's Creek Jacob's Well, Matt's Mountain Goat Pick, 4 other great bottles that have been released so far this year. That's kind of the theme of this giveaway. The Jack 10 doesn't count, but I wanted to put that in there with the 12. A Bardstown Single Barrel, a Jack Barrel Proof Rye, Peerless High Rye, and then I'll throw in a couple bonus extras in there too. All right, let me scroll back. Jeez, guys, I am so behind. Jimmy, here's something to ponder. Texas just had a drop of 13 with a Russell's 13 with a higher SRP of 150. Get it home, and it's batch 3. Interesting. I had some sitting around then. I like batch 3, man. Batch 3 tastes old as crap. Toshi, I think it's less the quantity of LEs cam and more the economy. Things are stagnating in general. People are being tighter with spending. Yeah. Yeah, what the interest rates went crazy today again, right? Toshi, I've seen so many sites dropping prices. Let me get this Virtue poured here. And I'm having to stop myself from going nuts. Bought 3 Willet 10s and 2 Russell 13s in the last week. Yeah, Toshi, you're killing it, dude. Toshi has like some of the best bottles on planet Earth. I have a special bottle coming my way, Amy. That's from 2017. So I'm going to maybe open that next week. Actually, it'll probably be open by next week's stream. Probably open tomorrow when I pick it up. All right. Oh, I don't think I saw what William said in here. He said on his last super chat, Amy, not a new one. On his second $50 super chat, he said, "Keep up the bad talk about rum, please, Cam. That way no one starts hoarding it like bourbon or Fortaleza." I think that's that tequila, right? I've been seeing people going crazy about that stuff. Dustin, Cam, what was your favorite pour of Pours in the Park? Dustin, I had a couple, man. You know what? Let me just kind of eat my words here for a second. On a live stream maybe 2 weeks ago or something. Yeah, it wasn't on Monday. I said on a live stream that there's kind of a lack of paradigm-shifting bourbons out there where you taste them and you go like, holy shit, it's a whole new world kind of thing. And then I went to Pours in the Park, and I tasted a few whiskeys. One of them was Jack 12. I tasted Jack 12, and I went, okay, we got something going here. I tasted a Nash Tucky 5-year. That blew my mind. The 5-year supposed Buffalo Trace distillate, which had clearly been rebarreled. That was an outstanding pour. It was a little heavy-handed, but what are you going to do? It's a 5-year, and it tasted ridiculous. And then the other one was the Hardin's Creek Claremont, a 17-year beam product at, I don't know, what is this one at? This one's at 108 proof, so maybe it's around there, 108 or something. Just ridiculous. So a few of the whiskeys there, for me, the Hardin's Creek was like a reaffirmation of what good classic legacy distillery Kentucky bourbon is. The Jack 12 was, again, a legacy distillery, but pushing in a new direction and being able to taste more aged Brown-Forman, which we just don't get to do very often unless you're paying exorbitant amounts of money or waiting in lines. And then finally, the Nash Tucky, again, jumping on this double-barreled trend, in that case, a 5-year supposed Buffalo Trace. That's really where whiskey's going right now, because what we're lacking in flavor from a lot of whiskeys hitting the market, whether it's due to age, shitty cooperage, grain quality, whatever the case may be, what we're lacking in flavor from those factors as demand has increased in the last couple decades we can make up for in these double barrelings. And it's not a perfect solution, but it's better than like the toasted barrel phenomenon, which creates, in my opinion, very bitter, astringent, young, woody, oaky whiskeys. So I did have a couple amazing pours there. Dustin, I'd say my favorite pour, Chris Ludwig opened, I don't know what decade it was from. It was one of those squatty old Fitz bottles, not the big decanters like we have now. The squatty one with like I think it's like black wax. I just did a very bad hand motion. I mean, I had the whole thing. I had the whole package there. Damn. Anyways, one of those squatty old Fitz bottles. It tasted like olive oil. It was the most unique whiskey I think I've had in a year or two. What's up, Terrence? McDermott, evening all. Haven't caught a live stream in a while. I was able to pick up a Jack 10. The 12 is non-existent. They're both good. They are both good. Boston cream pie, says Sugar Kitty. That's probably a closer note that I was trying to think of. Bourbon Retriever. Sorry, I'm catching up, guys. Where would you place Voyage in the pecking order compared to other Master's Keeps? I don't know what I haven't had that. What is it, 1894? I've not had that one. I've had the regular 17, not the bottled and bond. I like the regular 17. It reminded me of an even older Diamond, and I love Wild Turkey Diamond. That you could just drink a whole bottle of that in one sitting. You'd not be doing great, but it tastes so good, and it's so crushable. I would probably say my favorite Master's Keep, bottled and bond 17, is at the top. I haven't had Revival either, the Oloroso Sherry. I would go 17 bottled and bond at the top. I would go regular 17 after that. I'd go Voyage third. Cornerstone fourth. I'd put 1 in last. I thought Wild Turkey 1 was just extremely, again, forgettable whiskey. Cool Whip, says KCB. Yeah, we'll get to Mountain Goat here in a second, I think. Whoever said that. Amy, in for 4. Sold, I'm in. Cheers to you, amazing Whiskey 2 peeps. Thank you, Amy, and thank you, everybody else. You guys are... Your generosity tonight is unbelievable, and I can't thank you enough. Yeah. Wow. Jeffrey Wax says, Essence makes me so excited for Sagamore. Yeah, we're going to get there right now, dude. Gary Franchi says, Cam refused to kill my Pingree 15-year blue label, so that... Yeah, Gary, there were some things, man. I just felt bad taking those pours. It's like, let other people need to experience that stuff. I've never had a blue label, but I felt like, you know, and especially maybe at that point in the night, like, someone else should drink that. Paul P says, I think they call it consolidated, not rebarreled. Well, they can call it what they want. I think there's a lot of shenaniganery going on in some of these rebarreling operations. I mean, come on. So Claremont was 110 proof. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot about the Willet 15. I totally forgot. Ryan Alves dropped off a 15-year Willet in one of the rooms that we were doing the bottle share. And yeah, that actually might have been my favorite pour. I forgot about that. Clay, when I said shitty cooperage, I just mean like, you know, we don't have, I shouldn't have said, that was a really lazy way of saying that. I probably should have just said, we're not talking about like old growth wood and just the stuff that we had in the 80s, you know, the quality of wood is essentially what I'm trying to say. I don't mean to say that the Coopers don't know what they're doing. Although, you know, some people love Kelvin Cooperage, this and that, when you hear those names associated with different, you know, different bottlings and stuff. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's get into this Essence We have 136 in here. That's incredible. Please hit that like button if you guys haven't already. This is going to be a single barrel. It's barrel number 1 from the Bourbon Junkies, 59.5% or 119 proof. 5-year-old Sagamore. And the color, it's a very, very dark color for a 5-year. All right, a couple things on the nose right away. 1, just kind of a sweet cherry. Not super dark, but a nice sweet cherry note. I would say this is more of a fruit and spice-driven bourbon than anything else. You're not talking big caramels on this Sagamore. And I have not had any of the Sagamore, like, distillery-released bottled in bonds, I believe they did. I have not had any of those to compare. Now, there is one thing. There's a little Cracker Jack note in here, too. There's one thing in this that I get on Maker's Mark, and it's not ruining this for me because I really, really like this Essence bottle. But I find a faint whiff in the background of that, like, you know, what did Matt call it? Yogurt or like lactic, some sort of milky note in this. There's a little bit of, a dairy note. There's a little bit of like a dairy note in this Sagamore. It's in the background, and it kind of enhances this this sweet cherry, almost a candied strawberry. That cherry note, or let's just say red fruit, I think it's like sweet maraschino cherry, maybe even candied strawberry. But this dairy thing in the background pushes it forward a little bit more. That's the best way I could describe it. That's very, very good and very intense. 119 proof, but it kicks you. Is Nancy in here? Oh, shoot. Nancy Fraley. What's up, Nancy? I saw you posted earlier, I think maybe on Instagram. Hey, Cameron, I saw a bunch of barrel samples in front of you. Just finishing up a long blending day. There you go. And currently drinking the results of it, but haven't checked in a while. Wanted to say hi. Well, thank you, Nancy, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. You might have some more samples coming your way if you win tonight's giveaway. It's good to see you, Nancy. Izzo's Place says, gotta go. Oh, sorry, I missed you. Gotta go sub recently. I'll check out the rest of this on the replay. Have a great evening. Cheers. Have a good evening. Terrence, I wonder if there are less life-altering pours, or is it when, especially tubers, but others who have the resources can have all of these outstanding whiskeys that less become impressive. I think, I mean, look, it's kind of like anything else. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I don't know how many whiskeys I've tried. It's in the thousands. I don't know if it's closer to 1,000 or 5,000. You know, it's a lot of whiskeys. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you know, it's as impressive as day one. No, I am. Things become very predictable. But the more I continue to kind of openly or even just in my head talk crap about there are no more paradigm shifting whiskeys, or, you know, very rarely do we find these. Every time I say that, something blows my mind. And like, even another one I forgot earlier from Pours in the Park. So I've had a lot of them at Pours in the Park. Was the Virtue Rye 1, the barrel 1, the very short barrel. I'm telling you, when you guys see this bottle, it's going to get here tomorrow from me. It'll be on next week's live stream. I'm telling you, when you see how dark this whiskey is, you're not even going to believe it. It's closer to black than it is like amber. It is such a dark whiskey. It tastes nothing like a 95.5 rye. And, you know, I think I'm still, the more I like talk smack in my head or out loud, the more I keep getting punched back by great whiskeys. So, I don't know. John Cloud, thank you for the $20 super chat, man. Put me in for one of those awesome sample packs, please. I gotcha. Or actually, Amy's gotcha. Thank you, Amy. All right. I scrolled down really far. Jeb Singleton says, just had a bottle of the Ohio Magna Single Barrel. If this was your handiwork, wowzer. Yeah, those are just so good. Nancy always coming in with the knowledge bombs. Is the dairy note you're getting more like Parmesan cheese and vomit? Sauerkraut. You know what? In this one, I would maybe go buttered popcorn. I would maybe go more buttered popcorn in this. When you say Parmesan cheese and vomit, you know, I feel like we're talking about Bertie Bott's every flavored beans. You know, if you got any Harry Potter people in here, the vomit jelly bean. Nancy, I would probably say this is more buttered popcorn. Although the other option, like where would you say this place is, Nancy? Which would be like spoiled milk or like, yeah, curdled milk or like spoiled yogurt or something like this. Where would you place that amongst those three compounds that you just listed out? Because that's what I get from makers. And in this case, it's not quite that strong. So buttered popcorn is maybe more of what I'm saying or more of what I'm picking up here. Yeah, the Junkies. This is just a great fruity, spicy whiskey. Really, really good. And I'm not just saying that because I like Dan and Sean. It's just really, really good whiskey. So for 5 years old, coming out of Sagamore, it's going to be crazy to see what this stuff does when it hits like 8, 10, 12 years old. And you know what it reminds me of is Four Roses, like some of the single barrel Four Roses at lower proofs. Maybe not even lower proof. I mean, this is 119 and it hits heavy. So this has like a Four Roses fruitiness to it and that spiciness. So the mash bill 75.25, that might even be Four Roses low rye mash bill. 75.25. I think that might be. Cameron, if you're getting buttered popcorn, then that's diacetyl. I think I said that right. Spoiled yogurt or milk is more of a lactobacillus infection in the fermentation. Huh. Butyric acid is definitely Bertie Bott. It's cheesy vomit and one of the most horrid smells and flavors. All right, let's turn a different little soundtrack on here. And let's get into some different whiskeys now. So great stuff with the Essence Bourbon one. The Voyage, pretty good, all things considered. Widow Jane, I really like the 15-year. I thought it was good. Barrel Gold Label beats it out, but what are you going to do? It's a $500 bottle. It better be able to beat it out, to be honest with you. So where are we going to move next? Where are we going to go next? I think it's Jack 12 time. I think it is Jack Daniel's 12-year time. If you guys see me like looking over something, my secondary camera's in the way of some of my chats, so. Joe, in for $20. Thank you, Joe. I'm a big fan of the Good Times Ambarana sauerkraut barrel finish. Cheers. Hey, man, they don't need any more ideas. They're already making enough schlock as it is. That Barrel Gold Label has gotten a lot more Dickel-y since it's been sitting in the glass, for what it's worth. Ooh. Yep. Tastes like the bottom of a shoe. Okay. The table's a mess. The table's an absolute mess. But that makes it all better. Have I missed any super chats? Got John, Nancy. Scrolling back, just checking in. Okay. Cool. I think I'm all caught up on Super Chats between PayPal, Venmo, and here on YouTube. And we will double check them at the end of the stream, of course. Just a quick reminder about tonight's giveaway. It's going to be a sample pack of tonight's pours, except for the Voyage. I'm sorry, I don't have a bottle of that. Jack 12, Virtue Essence Bourbon 1, Matt's Boulder Spirits pick. We'll get to that. I'll throw this Hardin's Creek in. Jack 10 is going to be in there. Jack Single Barrel Proof Rye, the newer one. A Bardstown pick, Peerless High Rye, and a couple bonuses in there as well. So 1 ounce of each. Dustin, I've not had any Stag Junior store picks, unfortunately, man. I'm only going to get those on secondary, and it's just too much money to take a risk on a single barrel. And it's too much of a price to put on a Stag Junior, in my opinion. Jack 12. My God. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? What class? Oh, Nancy says, I have a very bad habit of always spilling butyric acid on myself whenever I teach my nosing for faults class. That's disgusting. Teaching in Las Vegas next week at the American Distilling Institute conference. Damn, Nancy, that's awesome. I still want to come down and take one of your classes, if possible, when you do them in Kentucky. I think I remember that you do those. All right, Megan. Love the show, Cam. Jack Daniels 12. Thank you, Megan. In for 2. I appreciate the super chat. All right, Jack 12. 107 proof batch 1. This, to me, I had it late one night at Pours in the Park, so I was already feeling a little, I was feeling good. And when I start to get that way, and when it's sensory overload and there are, 50 people crammed into like this tiny little room, it gets hard to be really discerning about what you're smelling and tasting. But I remember when I tasted this, whoever I was standing next to, I looked at it and I just went, holy shit. And I knew that I had to get one of these things, even though I paid $250 on secondary for it. I said, let's do it. And is it going to be as good as I remember or not? So I'll tell you what this reminds me of on the nose. I'm going to give, I think, 4 bottles. Number 1, Coy Hill. There's a Coy Hill element to this. Obviously, 30 to 35 proof points lower. But that kind of flaming fudge brownie, just intensity. That's the best way I can put it. It's just the intensity, even at 107 proof on the nose, the concentration of flavor, that stands out. So, Coy Hill. Jack 10, I get that kind of chocolate-covered banana note in here a little bit. I get Barton off of this, honestly. Like, there is enough of that slightly medicinal cherry. This is not as medicinal as some Barton can get, but just a big, dark red fruit. Yeah, red fruit note. Maybe that's the best way to put it. I already mentioned there's a little banana in here, which goes along with Jack and Barton. But there are a few elements in here that are getting me towards President's Choice / King of Kentucky. And I'm not saying this is a replacement for King of Kentucky. But that really dark molasses intensity of flavor that you get from President's Choice, King of Kentucky even more so, it's in here. I mean, this is, in terms of value and availability, this is about as close as most people will ever get, I would say, to tasting a President's Choice or a King of Kentucky. And yes, it's Jack. Yes, we're talking about Lincoln County process and all that kind of stuff. It's still Brown-Forman. This is so good on the nose. It's just so much chocolate. All right. Man. That is so good. And I think it drinks a little over 107. I've been saying a lot of things tonight have been hot, though, so that could just be my palate this evening. And how do you describe this? Like hot fudge syrup. God, hot fudge syrup. Okay, so how about this? Let's go here. There's a little banana, but it's not crazy. Not at all crazy, and it's certainly not bright. But let's just say like a milk chocolate dipped banana. Like the chocolate gets, it cools down, it gets hard on the banana. God, I'm just having one of those nights where I can't say things that don't sound rated R. But he likes, like, you dip a banana, the chocolate hardens on it, whatever, and then you put like warm hot fudge syrup or hot fudge chocolate syrup. Yeah, let's just say hot fudge on that. I'm not doing a good job. I'm just going to drink a little bit more. There's also a lot of cinnamon in here, but it's just like the most flavorful cinnamon that you've ever had. It's not at all candy. It's not at all like Atomic Fireball. It's just really, really flavorful. Little grassiness on the finish. So that is what it is. As you guys know, I'm not a fan of even 0.001% grassiness. I just don't like it. But that's okay. Kevin S. says, man, you got some hitters on the table. Yeah, we've got some heavy hitters here. God, but I'm telling you guys, the molasses note in here reminds me so much of King of Kentucky and President's Choice. To me, this is up there for like a whiskey of the year type pour. I think it could be, dude. William Molnar, dude, you are way too generous, dude. Amy, William Molnar is in for another $50 super chat. So that's three $50 super chats from William Molnar. Dude, thank you so much. He said, I have to spend all my birthday money before I go. Have a great night, everyone. Glad to see you back on cam. Dude, thank you, Will. Wow. Nancy in for another 2 entries to tonight's giveaway. I've been a little embarrassed to admit it over the years, but I've been a Jack Daniel's fan since I first tasted it in 1977 at my father's wedding to my stepmother. I'd really love to taste that one. Say no more, Nancy. Say no more. All right, cool. CT says, just tuned in. What's the bottle to our right? Which one? We've got the Boulder Spirits pick, which we're going to get to here next. This is a ADHD whiskey pick, and it's hot. I mean, it's 136 proof. And then we have the Bourbon Junkies label Virtue Spirits. This is the very first bourbon barrel that they are releasing, single barrel, called Essence. Excuse me. Down south, I passed on a Jack 12, $279. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't like paying $250 for this thing on secondary. I'm still glad I did, but it really just depends on your budget and what you feel comfortable spending. $279, just knowing that the going secondary rate is lower than that, I wouldn't pay that even if I saw it in a store, because I could get it delivered to my house for less. So I'm not telling you what to do with your money or anybody else, because $279 is not a small amount. Neither is $250. But Mike got it for $200, negotiated him down. Nice, man. That's great. And looks like Joe might be sipping some as well. Casey, I would not buy a second one at $250. You know, I'm glad I have the bottle. I'm going to nurse this thing. I'm going to share this thing. If I found, I would have no problem paying $150 for this and picking up like 2 of them. But yeah, $250 secondary, that's a lot. So anything up to like $150. And if you guys don't have one, you want to get one single bottle, I could see going up to where I went, which is going secondary rate. But if you could even get it down to like 200, that would be fine for maybe just knowing you're only going to get one bottle. Yeah, CT tall bottle is going to be that Bourbon Junkies thing. Single barrel. All right, so Jack 12, a total winner. A total winner of a whiskey. It's just so good. I think the consensus between most people that reviewed Jack 12 was that it was pretty outstanding. I do remember seeing some people thought it was overrated or this or that. There are some moments when I'm drinking it where I go, wait a second, where'd the flavor go? You know, or like, where'd the nose go? Kind of goes in and out for me. I don't know if that's just a me thing. Sometimes that happens with whiskeys. Like, you're smelling and you're tasting, and then you feel like you got nothing off of it out of nowhere, and then it comes back. I don't know whose fault that is, mine or the whiskeys. Bourbon Retriever, is Jack 12 your favorite of the 2023 releases I've had? They can make me pull this out. Let me look behind me real quick. Okay. Oh, sweet. All right. I don't want to drink the rest of my Michter's 2023 sample from Joe because I don't have a bottle myself, so I think I have an ounce left to make a video with. Michter's 2023 might be my favorite of the year, but I may as well taste this Russell's 13 Batch 5, just a little smidgen of it. I love all the Russell's 13s. The first 3 batches, you know, they're all a little bit different. None of them drastically different. And I just want to test this out. This is not going to be like a one-off special release. Like well, maybe Jack 12 isn't either. So I guess Whiskey of the Year can include regular releases. I haven't really thought about it. The Russell's Batch 5 is very, very good. I'm not going to do like a full breakdown right now, but it depends on what you value in your whiskey, I guess. The Russell's 13 is just a higher proof, so the flavors hit with a little more intensity in terms of spice and like attack, but the Jack 12 concentration of flavor is more, given the proof. Yeah, I would need some time to think about it. I might actually go Jack 12 over the Russell's 13, Batch 5 at least, although the Russell's is really, really good. So favorite of the year so far, it's going to be between Jack 12, probably that Michter's 10, 2023, and then I will have Claremont and Frankfurt Hardin's Creek next week on next week's stream. Boston, the 3rd and final edition in that series, has not been released yet, to my knowledge. So I'll have 2 of the 3 next week. Again, I was at Pours in the Park. I was a little intoxicated when I had it, but the Claremont release I thought was insane. So that could also be up there. Maybe all of these Hardin's Creek 17 years are going to be in my top of the year, but Jack 12 is certainly top 5 right now. Dude, Durrell, the Michter's 10 is just, I don't even understand it. Jeb blended the Jack 12 and Coy Hill, dialed back the heat of the Coy Hill. I'll have to try that, man. Dennis says, Cam, what's your secondary go-to? I can't say that out loud on here. It's on Facebook though, you know, some Facebook groups, but I can't really talk about anything else on here, but we could talk offline, Dennis. Jacob says, Cam, what do you think beats Jack 12 at 250 secondary? Jacob, I think you ask questions like this a lot, and I like these questions because it makes me really have to think. And so if anybody in the chat has any, you know, any ideas on this, let me know. I think off the top of my head, I'm going to say it is probably the best value at that price, given everything surrounding it. Sarah texted me. Give me one sec, guys. Okay. Got to make sure she's okay. She's in the Big Apple this week. All week for a work conference. She can't wait to be home. I can't wait to have her home. 250 secondary. What's going to beat Jack 12? I don't know. The Hardens Creeks, Claremont, Frankfurt. They're at 275. I don't know. Maybe some Lucky 7 picks. I don't know really what those go for right now in secondary, the 14s and 15s. Maybe some Lucky 7 picks are going to be there. Yeah, otherwise, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'll got to look at the chat. Jeb says, Wyoming whiskey barrel strength is my vote at that price range. I have not had that, Jeb. Is it 250? Is it that much? Zafoid or Zafoid FPV. Stag Junior at sub 2. I'm not going to say that Stag Junior is even going to hold a candle to Jack 12. Jack 12 is just insane. Nancy said the Russell's 13 and the Jack 12 sounds like some stiff competition. Yeah, Nancy, it is tough. I don't like the comparison because they're just so different. I think Jack 12 is just going to win on concentration of flavor alone. Dustin says ECBP A117 going for 2 to 250. Yeah, they are going up. Darrell, I'm with you, man, but I don't know. That's an interesting comparison. I think in the style of whiskey that this Jack 12 is, it's probably the top of the heap at that price range. But if you look at like that more classic profile, the more caramel forward profile, as opposed to this, which I would consider to be like fruity chocolate molasses, in the classic range, I would go Elijah Craig barrel proof, older bottles. I would go, and they would be a little cheaper actually. Russell's 13 is around that price range now, maybe 250 to 300. But I really think the Jack 12 is a standout. Dennis, no, the 12 is not only better due to proof. I'm not going to pour this out, but I'll have... Well, maybe I will. Since I'm pouring samples, I won't take a rip off the top of this. Of the Jack 10, this will be in the sample giveaway tonight. This is batch 1. Just keep that in mind, please. Not batch 2, which I have not had yet. It's just a completely different profile for me. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know if there's a difference in where these were, you know, aged in their rick houses and stuff. But the Jack 10 is giving me more of like an Old Forester. Yeah, it's just giving me more of this like brighter vibe overall. The Jack 12 is just rich flavors. So, no, I think the difference is more than just proof. Jacob says Claremont sits right next to Russell's 13 batch 5 for me. Had them next to each other. Claremont has a nice longer finish. Russell's may be better on the front of the palate. That makes sense. The Russell's 13 batch 5 is very good. Darrell says the Jack 12 reminds me of a much older whiskey, slightly dusty note. I'm curious what the oldest is they blended in. I would also like to know that. You're right. There's something in there, Darrell. And I think when I'm talking about like King of Kentucky vibes from this, at the really extreme end of the spectrum of saying positive things about Jack 12. It's, to me, you're right. It feels like there's older stuff in here than 12. Jeb, good call on the Old Forester Whiskey Row Fire. That's a crazy good bottle. I have not had the bottled and bond yet. I'm going to be getting one of those so that I can... I have all of the 117 series back here. So I just need to get that bottled and bond. I want to do kind of a... I've never done videos where I've dove into a series and done everything in the series. I think the 117 releases would be a great way to do that. Mr. Drushka says, heading to New York tomorrow to grab a... Oh, man. Oh, man. Dude. Look at this haul right here. 23 Michter's 10. Unbelievable. Hardin's Creek, I don't know which one, but no, it doesn't matter as long as it's not the 2-year-old. Springbank 12 cast strength. Unbelievable. High West Burai. Very, very good. 2022 Handy, which is a very good whiskey. I have a video, by the way, guys, I shot of the Handy, and I haven't edited it. I've had this, like, raw footage for 5 months. I just need to freaking edit the damn thing. Jeb says, is Mr. Drushka Toshi's burner account? Yeah, right. By the way, guys, new content coming next week. Finally, we're getting back to pre-recorded videos, reviews next week. So very excited. Jimmy says, Jack 12 beats everything under 250. Yeah. Jimmy, you know what? Jimmy, anytime I think of you, I just think of Lucky 7 Barrel 72. This is the last of what I have of Barrel 72. I know the proof difference is pretty remarkable here. It's about 29 proof points higher. That's not good math. 27 proof points higher. Oh, I forgot how good that is. Oh my god. Oh my god, leather, dude. It's very similar though on the nose. It just tastes like weaker Lucky 7 Barrel 72. Damn. Jeb, that's funny. Jimmy says, Barrel 71 is badass also. Damn, I should have sent a sample with that shit. Oh, it's all good, dude. You were too freaking generous already with these samples, man. That's funny that you have Barrel 71 also. All right, what am I missing here? What am I missing? Off Camber says, Jacob's Pardon 18 year could be a contender. Is that light whiskey? I'm going to type it in real quick. Jacob's... Why won't this work? Oh. Hang on. There we go. Jacob's Pardon 18 year American whiskey. So that, yeah, it's got to be... Small batch recipe number 3. Bottled from 211 uncharred. Okay, so they're not charred barrels. That's why it's considered American. Okay. Yeah, I have not had that, so I couldn't speak to it. But if it is light whiskey or even similar to light whiskey, usually not a big fan. But that is a very subjective thing for me. Travis says, you need to have a comparison between a Dickel 12-year single barrel and the Jack 12 to see what's the better. I don't need to. No one needs to have that comparison. Dustin, Redemption 10-year high rye is under 250. That's a good call, Dustin, but yeah, it's a good call. It is a great bottle. Michael Evans, Cam, I have a Lucky 7 14-year hold-up. I've not tried the hold-up. That's the 100 proof batch product. I've only had the single barrels at cast strength. The rare character 14, and yeah, I don't want to skip over that. Rare character 14 year might beat it. I got a second one for about $200. I should have taken up the offer to get one of those. It was just at a time. It just wasn't a good time for me. But the 14 plus year, you know, malt whiskeys from rare character are pretty ridiculous. But secondary on it, and the price that most people are going to find that for would be around $450. Oh, this guy's back. Whatever, dude. It's fine, Matt. I just said that you're my best friend, but you saw that earlier and you still chose to, you know, just bounce. It's cool. It's just like everybody else in my life. YPC. Young's in the house. Good evening from work. Good evening. Don't say hi to Matt. Don't do it. Okay. What's up, Cheech? I'm telling Sarah to jump into the stream and say hello from the chat. Something she doesn't do. Thanks, Jeb. I already tasted the Voyage on the stream earlier, which, by the way, courtesy of YPC guys, of course, is the Voyage. So thank you for sending that along. If you missed Monday's, kind of bonus stream, Young also sent bomb burgers and shanks. So we reviewed that on Monday, kind of in a live review. Matt Porter says, best friends are understanding, and you're not being very understanding right now. I'm understanding that you're being a dick. I'm just kidding, dude. Oh, God. Matt says, tell Sarah I said, what's up? Oh, Sarah's going to bed. All right, what am I drinking right now? I think this is still Jack 12. All right, well, since Matt's here, let's talk about how bad his Boulder Spirits pick is. I need to pour a little more in the glass. That way, when I'm done for the evening, I get to pour more of this down the drain that I didn't finish. Sarah says she hates New York guys. I'm not a big New York City person either, but she really hates it. All right, so on to now, and this will be in tonight's giveaway. We don't have very much of this left. I took this to Pours in the Park, and people did a number on this because they found out how good it was. I mean, terrible. Matt, this is a terrible pick. Matt did a pick from Boulder Spirits. All right, there we go. Boulder Spirits, straight bourbon whiskey. This is distilled in Colorado. ADHD Whiskey Plus, Justin's House Bourbon. 68%, so we're close to hazmat. All right, number 3 char. There's Matt's ugly mug. As a mountain goat. I'm just kidding, Matt. Okay. Is that 44%? So I believe this is 51% corn, 44% malted barley. So this is, I need to move this back. 44% malted barley, so huge barley content, and 5% rye. I did not know that the first time I tasted this. And what's funny is the first thing that I thought of when I tasted this whiskey was, man, that really tastes like those rare character malt whiskeys. Come to find out, it is very, very closely related to them because of the high malt content. Kevin, hot damn. Sorry, sorry if I'm being mean, Matt. Rude, but he understands. Matt is the GOAT. Okay. So I think that's all we need to know. Matt, how old is this stuff? Is this like 4, 5, 6 years, something like that? And also, Matt, do you know the barrel size of this? Was this a 53 gallon? can't remember those details. Six years. Callie Reynolds. My dude Joe Dickinson asked if you wanted me to grab that pickup. And I said, heck yes, I'm so glad we did. It's so good. Yeah, 53 gallons, says Matt. 6 years old. Okay. Wow. So this is intense. I would say what I get on this, first and foremost, heat is apparent. It is apparent that this is a high proof. So there is an ethanol punch on the nose, like ethanol white pepper just kind of stinging the nostrils. But at 136 proof, you can't fault a whiskey for that. I mean, that's to be expected, right? I get like kind of like like ground up coffee beans. Like when I grind coffee in the morning, I get a little bit of that. I get a little bit of like Nutella on toasted, almost burnt bread. Like very dark, slightly bitter, but intense flavors from this. There's a medicinal cherry kind of thing going on in here, and it's really a dark version of that. Dark medicinal cough syrup. I'm saying that as, and it's not a bad thing, but there is a little bit of bitterness throughout this whiskey. I like it because it keeps it interesting at the proof. It kind of offsets and takes your mind away from just how much heat there is because it's 136. But there's a sweetness here as well. That sweetness for me is coming off in kind of an interesting way. Almost like I'm going to say like a bunch of things in a row. Banana, pineapple, yeast. Yeah, like unbaked bread, yeast. And maybe something else. Some other kind of bready dessert type thing. So there's a lot going on here. It's really good. If you guys like those rare character exceptional casks, you're going to love this. Jeb. Man, the palate. When it hits for me, that it's really, really kind of that espresso thing or coffee bean. Just poured some of Matt's Boulder sample. He sent me. I don't get as much heat. Maybe it's I bet the Bennuaine has something to do with that. Yeah. But also everything tonight I've said everything's been hot. The dinner I had earlier had all those spices in it, so it could be that. So take that with a grain of salt. The bitterness you mentioned comes off as almost a clean soap. That's very interesting, actually. To me, it's just on the nose. I could see what you're talking about. No, maybe a little on the palate, but more on the nose, I think. Yeah, crisp is a good way to put it, Jeb. Interesting. Yeah, this is a very cool pour. And I think this is one that, if I recall, I was messing around with water, and I actually really like the effect that water had on this. We still have 82 in here. We're an hour and 30 in. I just want to thank you all again for being here and hanging out tonight. I want to thank everybody who has contributed so far through Super Chats, whether here or on Venmo or PayPal. Amy, I've got 2 entries from Jeff Perkins. He's in for $10. Thank you, Jeff, for the Super Chat there, man. And thank you again, Amy, for keeping us afloat tonight. All right, let's do this with, I don't know what that was, 8 drops of water or something into this boulder. I like it with water. That might have been a few drops too many, but it tamed this thing down. It took away any of like the possible stinging on the nostrils. That sounded pretentious. I'm sorry. Most things probably sound that way. Sorry. The palate gets wacky with water, though. It gets like tart fruit, almost unpleasantly tart. So I would actually be very interested to taste some of the other Boulder Spirits products at maybe like a lower proof if they have a small batch bourbon or something. I wonder if it would be kind of obnoxiously tart and fruity, because I think the water helped the nose of this, but it made the palate just really out of whack. Matt, try it with water, dude. And I mean, I know I've sat maybe a few weeks ago when this bottle came and I played with it on the couch. That also didn't sound great, you know? But I played with it on the couch and I took it way, way, way down, like drop by drop. And it was pretty interesting. Tim Tam Slam says, I'm in for one via Elmo, also known as Venmo. Thank you, Tim. So, Amy, we got Tim in for one. The old Tickle Me Elmo, Tickle Me Venmo. Jeb said, my God, man. Oh, God. It's just, Jeb, it's been a long week. Sarah has not been here, and I have completely fallen apart. So, and I say that like kind of in jest, but also it's been kind of rough, dude. Scotty Alexander, thank you for the $5 super chat. Cheers. Favorite Ohio distillery offerings. Easy, easy, easy for me. Even with the new 53-gallon barrels, Middle West Spirits, go to the gift shop, get a single barrel rye and a single barrel bourbon cask strength. Those are my favorites. Watershed is very hit or miss for me. And they've been super kind about, like, you know, they gave me one of their bottles down there that I still need to review it. High Bank, you know, I've really fallen away from High Bank. I don't know. I never found the, like, High Bank Barrel Selects were pretty good. And I guess when you say Ohio Distillery, I apologize. I'm just thinking Columbus right now. But I think Middle West Spirits is probably the best in the state. I'm not familiar with anything in Dayton. Cincinnati, maybe I've had some Cincinnati, some Cleveland. But what are your experiences with some of these things in Ohio? Yeah, as I think about it, kind of going around the state in my head, I'm still going to stick with Middle West, I think. Kevin says, love me some Middle West. Yeah. Tim, I actually had the chance to try this at Pours in the Park. I didn't know what I was looking at, and I was like, what is this weird Remus? And I just totally passed on it because I was already pretty deep into drinking at that point for whatever day that was. And I was like, well, I could, you know, it's probably just, I think it's young rye or young bourbon, young high rye bourbon. But I just thought, I'll just pass on it. And the other thing, speaking of Remus, is like the Remus Repeal Batch 7. I saw the stats on the Batch 7, and it's just like Batch 6. You know, it's young, I want to say 8 to 10 or 9 to 10, something like that, with a splash of like 13 or 14 thrown in. Just, you know, Remus to me, in general now, not a big fan. Obviously, Batch 5 was insane. Anything before Batch 5 also was really good for the Repeal line. I've never really had any of the Remus store picks, which are typically pretty young. I feel like I've had enough young MGP. But the highest rye, I wish I would have tried that at Pours in the Park. Scott Raper in for 10 entries. Thank you, Scott. My goodness. You guys have been so incredibly generous tonight. I don't even know what to say. Thank you, Scott. Got you in, man. Amy's keeping track of the giveaways tonight. Scotty Alexander, I've enjoyed everything from Middle West, but would like to get into Watershed and High Bank. If you want to get into Watershed, I don't know where you're located. My recommendation is to go to Watershed. I've actually never sat at their bar, but I would hope that their bar would have a lot of their own offerings. Also, in the gift shop, typically they'll let you sample some things if they have it open. Try the Nocino finished bourbon. I actually really like it. It's a very strong finish, but it's more of a dessert thing. Try the Nocino finished bourbon. Sometimes some of the single barrels in the gift shop can be pretty good. Otherwise, you know, like the Pinot finish, which is the one they gave me to review, and then the Cabernet finish, or maybe it was reversed. Maybe they gave me Cabernet. I don't know. Those were like some of their old stocks that they had finished in those barrels, and their old product is not good. The newer stuff, whatever the new mash bill is, they had a new distiller come along at some point. That is much better now. All right. We're going to move on from Matt's Boulder pick. Jimmy says, I don't know if he did the Remus, but Ryan Alves was slipping new bottles on the tables all night. Oh, man. Ryan Alves. Like, I had heard of Ryan Alves, of course, before Pours in the Park as the guy from Justin's House of Bourbon, or Bourbon Outfitter, that everybody works with for their picks. And, you know, and I think at first I just was like, oh man, like I was hoping I didn't make a bad impression with Ryan. And then like we hung out a little bit more and I had a great time. I thought Ryan Alves was just such a good dude. I loved hanging out with him. So, not to sound like a fanboy, and I don't know if I said this on Monday night too, but another person that I had never really hung out with too much, but I enjoyed so much hanging out with at Pours in the Park was Dan Like. I had a hell of a time with Dan. And Matt Porter's fine too, but that was a sign. That was a sign to stop talking, to even stop jokingly talking bad about my best friend Matt Porter. Anyways, I had a hell of a time with Dan, with Ryan Alves. I met so many good people, but yeah, I think last year at Pours in the Park, I saw Dan a little bit around, but we never ended up really running in the same circles. Had a great time this year, man. I absolutely, I thought it was such a great event, and I'm so sad that certain people couldn't handle themselves there and everything like that, and I missed most of that because by the time the chaos happened in the lobby of the hotel, I was long gone watching the Nate Diaz, Jake Paul fight with Matt, Shayla, the Vascos, Joe Dickinson. I don't even know who else was there. I only got to see a little snippet of people, you know, going wrong that night. Matt says Ryan is Ryan is the best. At first I was like, oh my God, I don't think he likes me, you know, but I think he's one of those guys that has to open up a little bit, or like, you know, trust you to open up and hang. And man, I loved Ryan so much. I thought he was awesome. Oh, Jay, how could I not mention Jay in this conversation? Yeah, Jeb, Remus 3 and 5 did spoil us. Oh, Jeb. You're killing me, bro. What else? What are we going to sip? What else do we have to sip tonight? There's so much. I don't need to drink this Hardin's Creek. We got the new ones on the way. You know what? Let's do this K-Luke. Jimmy, you're still hanging out here, man. Let's do this K-Luke. Gotta get a fresh glass. If I look like I'm walking funny, that also didn't sound great. There's just crap all over the floor here. I have an obstacle course for myself. What am I missing? Okay, we're good. Jeb says, do the Coy Hill Jack 12 blend. Okay, Jeb, I will do that. I actually have a sample bottle that I can blend it in so that I make sure I have the same proportions. What do you guys know about K-Luke? I know people love I think their first batch was, you know, people really enjoyed it. This is high and low rye blend. Batch 5. Yeah, Joe, batch 5 on this. 119.4 proof. Can somebody hook me up with some stats? Or just any info? I'll just do it. Oh, Brian Bikey's done a video on this. So has Scott, my bourbon journey. So Seal Box. Here we go. Here's an article in Seal Box from June 21, 2023. K. Lucas had quite the year from Fred Minnick's high praise. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody's talking about it. Okay. Okay. Oh, that didn't help me at all. This article doesn't help me at all. Okay, there's our bourbon review here. This blend is a combination of mash bills containing up to 36% rye from Kentucky and Indiana, creating a balanced blend and layered bourbon, bottled, non-chill, filtered, barrel strength, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So it's Kentucky and Indiana. It doesn't seem to have an age statement on it. There we go. Michael Evans. Cam, is your shelf set up scotch on the right? It is. It's just some of them. I just basically allocated one shelf in this room to having scotch. So I just have like my Glendronachs here, which are my favorite sherried scotches. My Glenmorangies at the top. And then, you know, the last two shelves at the bottom, just random stuff. Kilkerran, Glen Scotia, some Armagnac, some single cask, you know, independent bottlings. Aaron, Aberfeldy 21, Glen Grant. Yeah, so just a lot of random stuff on those last two. David L says, K-Luke Batch 5 is so fire. Okay. All right, well, I'm excited for this now, guys. Oh, that smells good. That smells like some dark, grapey, plummy MGP. Dark fruit on this. Dang. I've got to say I did not expect that. Damn. Wow. That is very good. Was this rebarreled? This tastes rebarreled. Like, it is so much flavor in this whiskey. David L says 2 Cam lives this week, winning. I hope that's winning. Thanks, man. Nancy just visited the likes. Although my DoorDash burrito is here, Cam, I'd love for you to discuss your Armagnac sometime. Nancy, I don't have very many of them, so I need your help. I collect them and would love to know what you've got. Just a couple of them, Nancy. We'll get into them another time. I got to have you back on the channel for a live stream. You know, we got to do it again. I got to shoot you an email, and we'll make it happen. You know, Nancy, I think what would be fun is I'll send you a couple of my, like, just a couple of really, maybe my favorite pours or something like that, or just stuff I think you'll enjoy. I don't know. And you send me a couple things, and we just take each other through what we like. I don't know. That'd be fun. I used to do those kind of streams with Trev Wilson a lot. I called him Sharing is Caring. Joe says his model for blending is to try to make it taste like Four Roses LE bottles. I could kind of see that. I'm telling you, this smells like the Nash Tucky stuff. That Nash Tucky 5-year Buffalo Trace I talked about earlier that you have to imagine was rebarreled given the color and the flavor profile. You know, some of the Nashville Barrel Company stuff. that you have to imagine was rebarreled, given the flavor and the flavor profile and the color. But this has that. This is like a little root beer-ish. A little like buttercream root beer, extremely dark fruit. It's sweet, but not in a really kind of dessert, bright vanilla way. It's sweet in a dark way. And there's kind of like this smokiness on the back end. A little bit like a cigar smoke. That is so, so good. This might be my, like, I love Jack 12. But in terms of shock factor, this definitely wins the night. I can't believe how good this stuff is. I really can't. All right. Jimmy, thank you, dude. I love this stuff, man. I can't believe it. I really can't believe how good it is. I cannot believe that. Guys, again, like every time I say, oh, there's not enough great life-changing whiskeys, or, whatever. Here we go. K. Luke. Incredible, incredible stuff. The skeptic in me says this is rebarreled, or maybe married in a barrel, however you want to talk about it. Regardless, that is so, so good. C. Keller just joined. What are you drinking? K. Luke Barrel Strength Batch 5. This stuff is insane. Yeah, I'm having a hard time here. Like, I'm just thinking about... I think this is the Jack 12. You know what? I don't even know that for sure. Yeah, I would say K. Luke Batch 5 is in my top 5 of the year. Just off the top of my head. Joe, and I have heard the story about this. He runs a liquor store. But look, I mean, so I think there are so many different skill sets in whiskey. One is just distilling, which is, yes, it is, it's sensory skill, but it's also scientific skill. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into distillation. Having a good palate is another skill. And good palate can mean a lot of things. One could just be the identification of flavor notes, which is unfortunate. It's kind of subjective. Sometimes it's very objective. It just depends. But the other part about having a good palate is being able to identify faults, being able to identify standout qualities, which is much less quantified than faults are. Faults can be, identified. But identifying faults, identifying standout whiskeys, also being sort of more scientific about your palate, meaning age identification, proof identification, basically doing blinds. And then also, like, palate stamina is totally a real thing. Can you maintain your palate through tasting a lot of whiskeys at once? So, like, distillation is a skill. Having a great palate is a skill. But even those things don't guarantee that you know how to blend whiskey. That is a completely separate skill that requires, if you are the distiller of that product, you must know how to distill. But if you're and I say this with air quotes, if Nancy's still here, just a blender, that requires that you not only have a great palate, but you also know how to blend. And blending is probably the hardest part about it, because it is a science, but it's probably more of an art, I would say. If any of you have ever tried to blend, you understand that you can put 2 to 10 great, incredible whiskeys together that are in their own right fantastic and come out with something that tastes terrible because they work against each other. And me personally, I don't know the science behind all that, but I know what the results have been when I go in and I blend. So, and of course, Nancy's the person to ask about that. But I feel like a guy that runs a liquor store who's actually invested in his picks and loving whiskey probably has a great palate and has probably sat down and really tried to mess around with blending. And that's probably the kind of person that would do something like this and make it great. It makes a lot of sense to me. Oh, Amy, that is fucking awesome. I said on a stream long ago, the distiller makes the paint and the blender makes the painting. I got to take a picture of that, actually. That is an awesome, awesome quote, Amy. I love it. Jeb, I think a lot of times I don't have any evidence of this, but I think there are probably many, many instances of people just working with good ingredients and things happen for them because of that. Dennis says, what batch was that, K. Luke? It was batch 5, dude. And it's more than I could have ever expected, you know. Easy, you know, one of the top whiskeys of the year for me. I missed you, Jason. Hey, Cam, good to see you a couple weeks ago. K-Luke 5 is so damn good. Yeah, this is crazy, dude. I don't know what's happening in my mouth. Also, Jason and I were in the room together when Jason, I don't know if you remember this, dude. I don't know if you remember what year that Old Fitz was from that Chris opened up in Blake's hotel room. I want to say it was an older one, but I can't remember. But that Old Fitz was one of the craziest whiskeys I've had in recent memory. Like you mentioned oregano and basil. I said olive oil. It was the most savory, funky ass, dusty bourbon I've had probably ever. The only one that was I actually got a little asphalt on it as well. Some people didn't get that, and that's kind of a specific weird note. The reason I said it is because after having the A.H. Hirsch 16 that Matt sent to me, and which is like total asphalt, it kind of reminded me of that. The A.H. Hirsch is probably the craziest dusty I've ever tasted. But that Old Fitz was a close second. Yeah, 1960s. I was going to say I thought it was an older one. Dude, crazy whiskey. Nancy says, Cam, you're spot on about these skills. Blending is definitely more of an art than a science, although you do also need to know the science behind it. Amy loved your quote. Yeah, Amy's quote is awesome. Keith, Cam, I found a 124 and a 120. Dude, you found the high proof Rebecca Creeks. I'm not going to say no to those samples. I absolutely would not decline those because I've been so curious about all those Rebecca Creeks. And people say that those higher proof ones, you know, in the 120s, 130s, those are the ones to get, not the 108s. So I would gladly accept, man. But if you change your mind, like, no worries at all. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that, man. Okay, Luke, I mean, I just want to keep drinking this the rest of the night. Is there anything I need to try, guys, before we do the giveaway drawing and call it a night? The last thing that Jimmy sent was the Prideful Goat 15-year batch 3. I probably won't get into that tonight. maybe another time. Otherwise, I think I've pretty much hit what I wanted to hit this evening. Yeah, I think that's... And next week, we've got Claremont and Frankfurt that we're going to be doing. We have a certain toasted rye from 2017 that's going to get opened, and samples will be given away. Amy, I spent way too much money on this bottle. What else? There's other stuff. I have an old Ezra 15 from 1969 that's going to be here. So that's, you know, that's not great for the wallet. What else? I think that's it. Oh, and the Virtue Rye 1. I will give away samples of that next week as well in the live stream. Amy, it's not Scotch time. Not tonight. Dennis says that batch 5 is nowhere to buy. I figure it's probably long gone at this point. Nancy, Life of Whiskey. Fermentation is the conception. Distillation is the spirit gestating in the copper womb. Damn, this is... Okay. Maturation is the élevage period. Raising a spirit from infancy to adulthood. Huh. Look at that, Nancy. This is like poetic. This is whiskey poetry. Old tub, Jeb. It's in the basement, dude. On the bottom shelf in the very back behind my drum set. All right, guys, we're going to call the giveaway in the next 90 seconds. 10:10, we're going to call it. So if you want to get any last super chats in. Amy, how many entries do we have so far? Let me know before we call it. Let me know how many entries we have total tonight. And reminder, we have sample flights of tonight's pours and some bonuses that might be arriving soon that I'll throw in there as well. David L. jumping in with one more. I got to check my Venmo and my PayPal as well. Oh my gosh, another massive super chat. Who do we got here? Adam Baskerville. Dude, Adam, thank you, man. And thank you for offering that McKenna sample, dude. I sincerely appreciate it, but I know that's a very special bottle for you if you're still hanging out in here tonight. Amy, Adam Baskerville, Baskerville. Adam Baskerville is in for 10 entries with a $50 super chat. He said, enjoying the stream. Thanks again. No, thank you, Adam. Sincerely, dude. You guys are incredible. 112 entries, says Amy. Well, after David and Adam, let me know where we're at. I got to check PayPal real quick. Okay, we're all good over there. Jeb. Keith Thompson, I've ruined several whiskeys trying to make something for Blindageddon. They change so much as they sit. Yeah, that's another thing. 112 now, says Amy. Or 122. That's kind of a crazy number, Amy. Let me look around and make sure I have enough whiskey for this. Okay, we're going to have 3 winners tonight. We'll do 3 winners tonight instead of 2. I may run out of sample bottles because I think that's going to be 30 total sample bottles. I didn't account for that. I had no idea that people were going to support as much. Like, I didn't know you guys were going to support as much as you did tonight. This is kind of like... Amy, Toshi... Okay, we got... You guys are insane. Amy, Toshi's in for another $50 super chat. Toshi, I got a Claremont on the way, man, but I thank you for offering that, dude. But I've got a Claremont and a Frankfurt on their way. So Amy, Toshi for another 50, and Nancy with another 10 now. and Nancy, I hope I'm saying that right. Élevage means to raise the spirit, just as you was raised, I can't speak. Élevage means to raise the spirit just as you would raise a child. The terrible toddler years, the challenging adolescence, and finally maturity. This should be the goal of a master blender. Oh, Nancy. Get me fired up. It's like a classic rock song, but in text form, and it's about whiskey. You guys are amazing. Thank you all so much for your support. We're going to have 3 winners tonight. If I don't have enough sample bottles to make that happen, I will order some more sample bottles tonight, and I will get them here in the next day or 2. And then I'll get all of these giveaways out by Monday, I promise. Oh my God, Copperwolf. Guys. Copperwolf in for 50. Can I do this? I think there's enough. We're going to do 4 giveaways tonight. We'll do 4. All right? Giveaways are cut off. Giveaways are cut off. Unless something sneaks through right now, they are cut off, okay? Copperwolf, thank you. Thank you all so much. We're going to do 4 winners for tonight's giveaway, okay? So the deal is Amy's going to send me that list. I'll copy it into the randomizer, and I'll share my screen so you can see it get randomized. You can see it's all above board. And then the first 4 different winners, no duplicate winners, in that randomizer after 7 spins will win. Each of you will win, and you just have to email me. I'll put my email up in a second, drumsanddrams@gmail.com. Email me your name, address, remind me that you won tonight, and I'll get that out to you. You guys are incredible. Keith Thompson, I'll give away 2 K-Luke Batch 5 samples if you'd like, Camp. Keith, let's do it to the first 2 names. The first 2 winners will get K-Luke Batch 5 samples. All right? Amy, let me find the link. Guys, I'm so sorry I have to do this right before I draw for the giveaway. I got to run to the bathroom. I don't want to pee my pants on stream. I'll be back in 90. This might be a 2-minute. This might be 120 seconds. I'm going to take my whiskey with me, but I'm very, very sorry about this. I do not want to pee my pants. I'll be right back. Very sorry about that. Sometimes that happens. Okay. Nancy says, I'll race you. I don't know who won, Nancy. Jesus. All right. Yeah, that's going to go on next year's Map Madness. If peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis. That's funny. That is funny. Jeez. Chris Lysak. Dude, what's up, man? You guys, Chris plays with me in the Columbus Symphony. He's our resident sleigh bell player. Yeah, things are going pretty good, dude. Judging by the color of my cheeks. Matt, we might keep going, dude. We could keep. Let me do the giveaway, and we could keep the party rolling. I don't have to be up in the morning until I have to go pick up a Michter's 2017 Toasted Rye at 1 p.m. It's only a 25-minute drive. Feasibly, I could wake up at about 12:20 and be okay tomorrow. I don't want to wake up that late, but if I need to, I can. Clay, give us one more hour. Oh, my God. All right, let's do this giveaway. Let me find the sheet. You guys are so insanely generous. We will double check the sheet because there's so many super chat entries. I want you to have a chance to double check and make sure we got it right. I don't like to have mistakes in there. Okay. Amy has, there we go. She totally killed this spreadsheet here. All right, let me share my screen now. We're going to get Matt in there as well. There we go, ADHD Matty Matt. 75 still hanging out. I can't even believe it. Thank you all. Boom. There we go. Travis, how do you think the cellar-aged makers will be? Do you think the dairy note will age out? I don't know. And actually, I'm going to buy one of those probably because I want to test it. Jeb, we'll get to it, man. It sounds like I'm going to be on for a little longer now, so I want to do the giveaway real quick. All right, guys, here's the dealio. I should zoom out a bit so you can see all of this. There you go. So here is the spreadsheet. There we go. Please look at this spreadsheet right now. Your name is on the left. All right, and your number of entries per time that you entered is on the right. So that all populates over here. You don't need to look at all this because I don't want to scroll up and down. There's so many entries here for you to check. Just check your name and the number of entries next to it. And if we missed something, let me know. But if you entered 2 different times, please keep that in mind. You will then appear 2 different times on this. Like William Molnar in here. He's got 10 here. But he should also have another 5 somewhere as well. No, I'm sorry. He should have 10, 10, and 10 is what I'm thinking. He had 50, 50, and 50. So William Molnar entered 3 different times. All right, so there's 10, 10, and 10 for him. So just make sure your name is accounted for, but make sure you account for the fact that you may have entered 2 different times as well. Jimmy says I should be 3. Never mind, he says. Okay. Yeah, so there you go. So, Jimmy, you got 2 and 1. Jeb, I want to see a pie chart to get a better understanding of my chances of winning, please and thanks. No, Jeb, no pie charts. Joe says, you didn't see above cam. I'll throw on the other 2 K-Luke samples. Dude, awesome. So everybody that wins is also going to get a K-Luke sample from Joe or who offered the last ones. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm like kind of overwhelmed right now with everybody being so, Keith. Jesus, sorry, Keith. Keith and Joe, everybody's going to get a K-Luke Batch 5 sample. I'm telling you right now, Jimmy, I can't believe you actually shared this with me. This is such good whiskey. And if anybody has a lead on an extra K-Luke Batch 5, for not an exorbitant amount of money. I don't know what they go for on secondary. So if it's $1,000, I don't want to pay that. But if it's like a couple $100 or whatever, please let me know, because this whiskey is crazy good. All right. Sounds like we're good. Let's run this randomizer. I'm going to copy all these names. It's 147 entries, man. Crazy. You guys are so insane. Thank you. I guess I got to pull up random.org now. No. There we go. List randomizer. All right, so there we go. Everybody's in here. 7 spins. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one more spin. The top 4. Although I think if Clay wins it, it rolls down to the next one. Here we go. Boom. Okay. Oh, we have a couple of things here. So we've got William Molnar winning. Lido is winning. Matt freaking Porter is winning. Clay is rolling down to Will, who already won. So we've got Noah. All right. So this is what we're doing tonight for our winners. And if you did not win, I know obviously we can't all win. Thank you so much for coming back on this Thursday night. Again, I said we got 5 weeks in a row of live streams. We got new content dropping starting this Monday. We're back in business. I'm so excited, and I can't thank you all enough for being here tonight and for supporting in the way that you did. It's really, really insane, actually. So bumped it up to 4 winners. That's as many as I can offer with the amount of whiskey that I have in front of me, because I think we might exhaust some of these bottles if I go past that. So, congrats, you guys. Matt Porter says, roll mine down, please. So, John Cloud is going to be the next winner. Jeb says, what does 14th place get? A handshake and a hug, dude. All right, I got to write this down before I lose track of everything. Giveaway winners. Going to be William Molnar, who was insanely generous tonight and is out for his birthday right now. Happy birthday, dude. Noah, Paula, and John Cloud. So, guys, please send me an email. And Matt and Clay, thank you guys for rolling over and being so generous. drumsanddrams@gmail.com. Send me an email there. You know, name, address are the 2 essentials. Let me know you won tonight, and I'll get this out to you. Probably have to order more sample bottles when I get off here. Nancy, I'll have some stuff coming your way, too. Although, you know what? I'll email you about doing a stream together, and this we can maybe just do all, you know, I'll send you some stuff. Drink some of it on the stream, some of it for you behind the scenes, etc. And we can work all that out. So, cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, thank you, Matt, for rolling over to John Cloud. I guess, so Jeb's telling me that I need to do this blend. So let's do this blend. So, speaking of Matt's generosity, this is another one. The Coy Hill from Mr. Matt Porter. Let's just do a 50-50. I'm going to free ball this. No funnel. We're going to go straight into the sample bottle. Travis, I also tipsy poured directly into some sample bottles with Travis at Pours in the Park. I remember doing that, Travis. And I was like, I can't believe I did that. Yeah, Lito, I've got your address. I have William Molnar's address too, I think. John, I don't know if I have your address, and I don't believe I have Noah's. So, this is the Jack 12, right? Not the 10? Yeah, 12. Okay. Oh, I spilled some. All right. You know, lost a couple drops. It happens. So we just did a little custom half and half Coy Hill and Jack 12 blend. Travis says, that officially goated you that evening. Honestly, I can't believe I remember I just did it, and then I got to the end of it, and I was like, oh, all right. That happened. All right, so we'll let this mingle for just a second here before we pour it out. Durrell says, I definitely know the feeling of ordering multiple sample bottles for sending samples out. Yeah, man. Clay, you love the freaking pairings, dude. All right, Cam, let's get down to business. Revisit what you tasted tonight, pairing with some cheese, chocolate, fruit. I have one banana that is way overripe, although if I were my dad, I would say that overripe bananas don't exist. I think there is a limit. There's an upper limit. But my upper limit's pretty high. I do have some white and dark chocolate chips. No cheese. I think I have like shredded Mexican cheese in the fridge, Kroger brand that Sarah uses, but I try to avoid the old cheese for my innards. Amy hitting it up with an Amazon link. I've got a source for those, Amy. A pretty cheap one. Nancy says that Jack 12 is so dark. Yeah, Nancy, it is exceptionally dark. And the Coy Hill, actually, let me look at the colors. The Coy Hill is even darker, but it's actually just more red. I have no idea where it was aged in the rick houses, but it's, yeah, you're right. It's got to be some pretty intense aging going on there. Amy says, some stream a few nights ago was doing charcuterie boards and whiskey, and I was dying. Clay, I think next time we do it, we'll probably do some Armagnac and whiskey combo stream with us sharing back and forth. That sounds like what... Plus, I mean, obviously, I'm going to be picking Nancy's brain, you know, interviewing along the way, I guess, but... We'll probably talk all sorts of things. Ooh, Durrell. Pairing ECBP 920 with Hershey's milk chocolate is heaven. You know, I like Dove chocolate. I like a lot of chocolate. I like all chocolate. Most chocolate. But there's something about Hershey's milk chocolate. I don't know if it's the chemicals, the bugs that get mixed into the blends. I don't know what it is about it. Preservatives, carcinogens. I don't care. I think Hershey's milk chocolate's the best. Clay, maybe I should have you on, dude. If you want to do some pairings, jeez. We'll go deep. Go deep on a Patreon stream or something, you know? All right, let's do this. I got to get a... Well, I don't need a totally fresh glass. Just clean one glass out and we'll pour... I mean, this blend is at such a ridiculously high proof probably with the Coy Hill in there that I can have a little residual water in the glass. It's not going to kill it. Okay, let's do this. That was probably too heavy of a pour. Clay, I've got the palate of a 14-year-old. Give me pizza or give me death. You know, I had a pizza last night, and I shouldn't have done it because it ruined my body. It's going to be till tomorrow for me to feel better. But it's a place I got an 8.1 from Dave Portnoy when he was in town. And you know, if you get into the 8s, you're talking serious pizza. If you guys watch any of the One Bite Pizza reviews, Sarah and I have so far had 2 different 8-1 pizzas, one in Toledo and one here. Toledo was better, so I would have to give that the edge, but he was between 7-9, and Dave's reviews are not law, but it was pretty damn good consistency between these 2 pizzas. They're so close. Toledo's a little better, but he also said the one that's close to me was either 7-9 or 8-1. He went 8-1 because they had a good interaction with the owner, but he probably should have went 7-9. All right, let's do this half and half Coy Hill Jack 12 blend. Jesus, the Coy Hill still takes over. I mean, of course it takes over. It's, what is this, 140.6 proof? Jack 12 is 107. This could use, I would maybe put a 60-40, 60 being Jack 12, just for the nose. Maybe the palate, the palate's probably going to be awesome. But this is like still that smells like a brownie's on fire type nose. Emphasis on the fire. Like it just is so intense out of the glass. Oh, very interesting. It's like a reserved Coy Hill with more finesse on the back end and more leather actually on the back end. Jeb, I hate you so much, dude. Oh, Jeb. Oh, God. I don't particularly like the nose on this. I'd rather it just be all the way Coy Hill or all the way Jack 12. Right now, it seems like on the nose, I want more Jack 12 to give some rounded out finesse to it. But the palate, actually, before I take that sip, it's really nutty on the nose. It's like almonds. Oh my God, the palate is so good. The palate, I actually want more Coy Hill. I want a little more bite to it. So that's that's the conundrum, right? The nose seems like it needs more 12. The palate seems like it needs more of the higher proof in there. So let's just throw a teeny little bit of the higher proof in there and see what happens. Oh my God. Had to focus. Jeb, I think I'm 59-41 now. Nancy, I love it. Truer words have never been spoken. A great pizza is worth a day or two bloat recover. Yeah, Casey, I saw a vertical of all 5 of the Jack small batch Coy Hill 375s. A vertical, 5 375 mils went up on secondary today for $9,500. That's 2.5 bottles of whiskey for $9,500. Of whiskey that truthfully is very replicable. If I'm looking at, let's scale that down, right? 9,500 divided by 2.5. You're talking a $3,800 750 milliliter bottle of whiskey. At $3,800, which is like Michter's 20 range, which is not worth $3,800. It $2,400. You're talking George T. Stagg 09, the best whiskey I've ever tasted in my life. Thank you, Toshi, if you're still here. I still have that sip of I'm so tempted to drink that, but Toshi said don't drink it. $3,800 for a whiskey that is so replicable by Jack Daniels. I do not understand the secondary hype on those bottles. Stuff that you can't replicate, like George T. Stagg 09, that is almost 15 years old. Bottle release date. That makes sense that you get crazy price points. But yeah, Jeb, I cannot imagine what those taste like, dude. Aaron. Oh my gosh, Aaron, I'm so sorry. I got to take the super chat banner down. The giveaway has already been done, Aaron, and I am so sorry if you entered, if you entered thinking about the giveaway. Aaron, let me write your name down for next week's giveaway, man. I'm so sorry about that. I should have taken that down. Aaron Pierce, $10 super chat rollover. I'll put that in my phone. Toshi says, still here, and yes, please save that. Eyeing another 09. Bro, that 09 George T. Stagg is the best whiskey I've ever tasted, I think. And Toshi, I saw almost a complete vertical of George T. Stagg go up on secondary 2 days ago. I think the 09 was around 2,700. You could generally talk people down to about 24 on that bottle. Dude, it's a bucket list bottle for me. It's something that I hope to be able to afford. And I don't know when I don't know what occasion would prompt me to open that, but thank you, Amy. Darrell, am I crazy in saying that I haven't tried 8, 10, 11, or 12. Although it sounds like Toshi might have the 10 to send, but am I crazy in saying that for me the 09 is one of the best bottles I've ever tasted, if not the best? Would that be accurate, Darrell, or what would you have in that top category? Ashton, I'm probably gonna need some more of that 2019 or 2020 King of Kentucky if I'm gonna do that. Dude, that 2020 you sent me was so good though. Adam Shelton, what's up, dude? I guess we're running late tonight. We've done the giveaway. Now we're just shooting the shit. And okay, this is a 50-50 Coy Hill Jack 12 blend, now with a little more Coy Hill in it, a couple more drops. The nose is actually better. I thought it needed more 12 on the nose. This is better. And the palate's better too. All right. I was wrong. We need to go 57% Coy Hill and 43% Jack 12. Final answer, Jeb. Nancy says, wow, the most I've ever paid for a bottle is $2,500 for an 1893 bottle of vintage Armagnac, which is an insane thing, Nancy. I mean, that's to think about something from the 1800s is pretty wild, I think, to all of us. But yeah, I understand, luxury markets for anything, completely understandable. Paying for scarcity, paying for status, paying for whatever you want to be paying for. And I get that whiskey falls in that same category in a lot of instances, and sometimes it doesn't. Rarity in a lot of cases is real. You talk about a 50-year scotch. At 50 years, there's not a lot of whiskey left in those casks most of the time. You're paying for rarity and scarcity. But for a lot of American whiskey, we're paying a lot of money for shit that, again, is easily replicable. So, yeah, I think the most I've spent on a bottle is $2,000, and it doesn't taste like a $2,000 bottle. It was a very special bottle. And then I've also spent, $1,000 here, $1,000 there, $1,100, $1,600 a few times, and then everything else is in the hundreds range. But it never feels good to do that, even if the whiskey's great, just because to think about drinking an ounce of something that's worth $100 is kind of just crazy. And you're going to just pee it out later. Keith Thompson, unfortunately, we had to postpone the Champions batch for personal reasons. And I probably shouldn't share, any more details about it because it's not my business to share, but we have to postpone it, unfortunately. Toshi says, yeah, Cam, bad about getting shipments on. I have an 07 and 13 LaRue samples bottled for you. Dude, don't apologize to me. If I ever taste those, That's incredible. I really appreciate it, Toshi. Yeah, Amy, that's the thing. I remember my fucking sorry, pardon my French. I remember my palms sweating when I was about to type BIN on a post for a Chateau de Labade batch 1 for $300, and I didn't know if I wanted to do it. I remember like shaking because I'd never spent that much money on a bottle. If only I could go back in time. Yeah, no, Nancy, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Cam, hold Toshi accountable. Chop, chop, sir. I will do no such thing, Jeb. Darrell, okay, I'm right there with you. The earlier hazmat batches were nuts. Definitely some of the best stuff I've tasted. I'll say ECBP batch 10 beat out 20. Interesting. I have not had the 2016 Darrell. I was always curious because the proof is so ridiculous. But to me, that 09 is like, I just could not believe how good that 09 was. And then also, on a totally different note, the 1977 Ezra Brooks 15 that Alex Halverson sent, he said that he was going to send some more my way. I'm not sure if he is. And truthfully, he shouldn't, because that's an amazing bottle. He should keep it. But that was a 77 bottled. I have a 1969 bottled on the way, but both are Hoffman distillate, old school stuff, before it went to Medley for those Ezras. So 69 is my mom's birth year, and it was bottled in 69, I believe. I don't think it was distilled 69. Although, I guess I should have checked more closely. But generally on secondary listings, things are on the bottling date. So it was probably distilled in 54. And I think that's one of the oldest distillations that I've ever tasted. I tasted a bottled in 45 Four Roses. So it would have been distilled either in the early 40s or late 30s. That's probably the oldest I've ever tasted. But this a 54 Old Ezra would be the second oldest I've ever tasted. Jeb. Amen, dude. Amy, B518 is so good. Oh my God, it's so good. Jimmy, I'm with you, bro. Shipping $1,000 bottle of olive oil, constantly checking the status till it gets there. I know, anything over like 500, but I'm double boxing, you know. And the second box is a big box, because like I've heard of boxes being run over, and I feel like a box that gets run over has a better chance if it's not. Like, I buy U-line boxes that are specifically dimensioned for single bottles. And then I have my own system as well for 6x6x4 boxes for samples that fit exactly 10 samples the way I pack them. And then the other ones are like 15x5x5 or something like that. And it fits one bottle and a shipper, and you just got to add a little packing onto one end, and you're good to go. But on like a really expensive bottle, it's going to be like one of those, but then also in a much bigger box. Nancy, yeah, she was born in April of 69. Jan 70. About as old as your mom, Cam. Keith says, I just reuse Bourbon Outfitter boxes. Yeah, that's also a good strategy. All right, what's next, guys? So I said I was going to stay on an extra hour for Matt. We got like 20 minutes left. So what's next? I have a barrel sample of a barrel pick from Rittenhouse Rye, but that doesn't sound that exciting to me. Like, after tasting what I've tasted tonight, it doesn't feel like it would fall in line very well. have so many samples up there. Like, I have the Jack Daniels. Actually, it's right here. I've got a sample of like that pecan finished Jack Daniels. What else is kind of different and somewhat recent? Most of my samples are like old at this point, so they're not as interesting. Toshi says, I was very impressed how you packaged that CDL. Toshi, did I double box that? I can't remember. I probably didn't double box that. All right, Nancy, thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for the support and the super chats. And we will be in touch, Nancy. Thank you. All right, let me see. What are we gonna do? Tag 09. Oh, Toshi. Oh my God, dude. Just a little nip off the top. God, that's good. I don't even know. I do have this. I don't know if Matt's still in here or not. I do have this. Yeah, Toshi, I just took a little taste. Just a little one off the top. So I got the old Sharder. This is the... So real quick, you guys probably, like, you know about Beagle Rare. Actually, okay, story time. I don't know if I want to drink the old Sharder right now, though. I'm good. We'll leave it out, though. What's up, Robert? Keith, thank you so much, Keith, tonight. Thank you for your support, man. And, oh, shit. Keith, I think I have your email, right? And I have Joe's as well. Keith and Joe. I forgot to write that in my note on my phone. Okay. Cool. All right. Okay, a couple things. Sarah and I's second wedding anniversary is next Saturday. Yeah, no. Yes, it is. So okay. So our second wedding anniversary is next Saturday on the 26th. And you guys know that I've got this, you know, these French Blantons back here, and then the one in the middle, the red one, is the one from last year, the $2,000 bottle, which is really good, but nowhere near worth that. But I also have the two French Blantons next to it, right? And those are both 50% ABV. They're not cask strength. And I think I'm probably going to try to open one of those this year also, because I want to do a comparison, selfishly. They all have our wedding date on them, obviously. I was like, I could open one right now early, but no, she would absolutely murder me. What's up, Ron? Travis, I was not able to get those samples, dude. I would not say this online, so things were not as, what do I want to say? The vibe got weird. Things that were offered were kind of unoffered. So I was like, all right, that's cool. You know. What are we doing? Someone help me. Let's just drink something good. Jason says, 18th anniversary on Sunday. Congrats. And congrats to you, man. All right, I'm just going to drink some Orphan Barrel 23. I've got half an ounce. Yeah, whatever, dude. Some of these, I've had this sample of Orphan Barrel 23 for like 2 years. Some of these samples, I kind of immortalize them. I just, I put them on a pedestal. I don't know why I did that. I put them on a pedestal. But I have so many samples in this room. At some point, you have to drink the whiskey, Amy says, B518, join me. Maybe next, Amy. See, all those old Orphan barrels are just so good. God. Travis, 12th anniversary on the 27th. Going to try some Jack 12. That's a great time to try it. Man, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here and just hanging out and just everything. The support, the great conversation, drinking whiskey together. I couldn't ask for anything more. So, thank you all. Hey guys, has anybody here tried K-Luke Batch 1? And if so, if you have tried it, have you tried it next to Batch 5? Or do you have opinions on Batch 1 compared to Batch 5, etc.? Please let me know. Adam, I saw your message, man. Thanks for sending that. Durrell, no, the Michter's 20's gone, man. But I can't believe you shared that with me, man. Yeah, when I shot the video that I did for it, that was when because I think I had maybe half an ounce left or something, or maybe just over half an ounce. That's when I killed it. So, Jeb, truthfully, I think I've only had this 23. God, I'm trying to think if I had a 21. And these are all just samples. I've never owned a bottle. I'd love to own the whole line. I love the Orphan barrels. I think they're so good, even though they're 90 proof or whatever. But Keith Schmidt, I think at least 2 years ago, sent me this sample of the 23. He may have even sent me 2 separate 1 ounce samples at different times. So I've only had this one. I've had the Barterhouse 20. I think Barterhouse is fantastic too. Travis says, if I see K-Luke 5, I'll keep you. Thanks, dude. Jimmy, Jason C. said Batch 4 is a GTS killer. If that's the case, this stuff has to be double-barreled. Oh, Tim Evans, sorry I missed you. Sipping on the new High West Bourbon Cask Strength, 6 out of 10, so you don't have to buy it. Yeah, it sounds to me like... I know these are totally unrelated, but they're both kind of nature-like and sourced and blah, blah, blah. Or like maybe partially sourced. Redwood Pipe Dream Cask Strength, for me, is super big pass. I like the Rye Cask Strength. The Lost Monarch Cask Strength is fine. The Bourbon, no-go. And when High West dropped that, I thought of this. It just reminded me of that. Darrell, I have batches 1 through 5 of the K-Luke, all great. 4 is my favorite, but we'll be blinding all, including batch 6 next month. Darrell, you don't have to post this publicly if you don't want to. Are you getting these from Sealbox? Because I unsubscribed from Sealbox's stuff because shipping took too long and I've just had too many bad experiences. But when I looked it up, it looked like the site I was on was Sealbox when I looked up the information. So should I resubscribe? Also, and Darrell, where would batch 1 rank for you? And to be totally honest, is batch 1 worth $125 plus shipping? And then also, the other thing about the K-Luke stuff, if batch 4 is the best, that gives me hope, is that most times when you have these operations, sourcing and blending, batch 1 is always the best because they, blow their load too early, for lack of a better phrase, by using all of the greatest barrels in the first batch. And so if K-Luke is actually improving or even just having great, outstanding batches on number 4 and 5, clearly, it's reassuring to see maybe some consistency or some growth in a new operation. Jeb, I'm killing it tonight, man. At this point, it's on purpose. Like, I can't even, Oh, Jeb says food for thought. Batch 1, Jack 10 is not as good as batch 2. Okay. Jeb says Lost Monarch cast strength is undrinkable in my opinion. And the original Lost Monarch is so good. Brandon Lincoln tried the High West cast strength last week and really liked it. Okay, so some differing opinions here. Mike picked up the Barter House for like 60 years ago. Yeah, Mike, they're about 400. Is it 400 on secondary? I want to say. I think 400. And I remember like the reviews of Barter House on Breaking Bourbon and other things were like, this is an average bourbon. And then you look at today's market and you're like, there's nothing. I know it's low proof, but you're like, there's nothing at this age and profile in today's market that was readily accessible like this 5-7 years ago, whenever that was. Tim says, same label style. You're right. That's right. They are. I think they're both dark labels, dark gray. Personally, I hated the cast strength series from Lost Monarch. Yeah. Walker Clark joining late again. Can't wait to see you think about the Jack 12. Walker, it's that was probably about an hour and a half ago. I loved it. That's the short answer. So, maybe check the replay or whatever, but and thanks for jumping in, man. But yeah, Jack 12 is phenomenal stuff. Jeb, Cam, midnight or bust? Okay, I mean, fine. Let's do a different giveaway now. I'm just kidding. Durrell, let me rephrase. I own a bottle of batch 4 and the master blender sent me samples. Tasting through and ranking was 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, first to last, but I want to do it blind. Okay. So maybe stay away from batch 1 just given that info. At 125 plus ship. I wonder, Durrell, if you had to, I only have batch 5 for reference, so take batch 4 out of that equation. I wonder how big of a difference there was from batch 5 to batch 1 in your mind. Are we talking like an A- to like a D? Or are you talking like A- to like B-? Toshi says, talking about George C. Stagg, the 2010 is the same distillation as the 09, just aged for one more year. That is pretty crazy. Huh. Craig Smith jumping in saying, Team Dan. Craig Smith, I eat Dan for lunch. Although he could eat me for lunch. He's much larger than me. In like a tall, manly kind of way. Walker, have you tried Buckner's? I got to be honest with you. I didn't know they had all that stuff out. I've only seen the 13-year. I love the 13-year. I've seen some hazmat stuff come out and people trying to gouge crazy on secondary. And suddenly the 13-year has a bunch of interest on the secondary market. And 2 years ago, people shit their pants that it was a $200 bottle, SRP. And now people are paying $150 extra on secondary. I think it's hilarious. I have not seen the 8 or the 10. And maybe I've seen the 15 online somewhere. But no, I haven't tried anything but the 13s. Orphan Barrel 23. Yeah, Darrell, maybe I'll have to just pass on the batch one. Adam, if you're still in here, maybe that's just a pass, man. I really trust Darrell's palate. Like, to the ends of the earth, I trust Darrell's palate. Greg Smith, have you tried Frey Ranch Uncut? Just a really old pick, which means it was really, really young. I had the chance at Pours in the Park to taste something more modern, which I think is at least 4 years old at this point. The one I have, I thought was maybe 2 or 2.5. I could be wrong about those ages. But at that point, again, that point in the night, I'm like, is it going to be good for me to drink this Frey Ranch 139 proof and taste it? Or should I go taste like Claremont, you know? I went with the Claremont. All right. What a crazy night. Okay. Jeb, I'm confused by the uncut. Just batch high proof is no. Greg, you're probably talking just about the single barrels. I haven't heard of an uncut product besides that. But Greg, if there is some sort of batched cast strength product, let me know. Yeah, Amy, I read that for a second. And I was like, what is she talking about? Darrell's got the palate for whiskey and whips. Well, there is a... Journeyman has corsets, whips, and whiskey, so maybe Darrell's into some 50 Shades of Grey. I'm not putting that... I'm not putting that out there. Darrell, sorry. Talking cars. Greg says single barrel, okay. Farm proof. Jimmy, I'll go get some bongos, dude. Oh, man. I actually, speaking of nerdy percussion instruments, I got 9 pairs of cymbals today in the mail from my cymbal company that I work with. I went up to in New Brunswick, Canada, probably about a month ago at this point, with my artist rep. We went up there together to the Sabian factory, and I shot a bunch of videos for them, you know, get dressed up, shooting product demos for them with hand cymbals and with triangles, you know, the real nerdy stuff. And then I picked out a bunch of cymbals. Like, I went through with got the old itchy ear. I went through with the head guy there, the head cymbal maker, Mark Love, who's been there for like 40 plus years. And we walked through and we picked out all these cymbals from their inventory, and we paired them. And so all those cymbals just got here today. Yeah, Jeb, 9 pair. I now have like, we're just talking like orchestral, like paired crash cymbals, not crashes or suspended cymbals or Chinese cymbals or splashes or hi-hats or drum set, just orchestral. I think I have 23 pairs of cymbals now and 2 more on the way. So I'm going to have like 25 pairs of cymbals. And that's, it's like you want to have a lot of different sounds for different situations, but I kind of went secondary market whiskey crazy on cymbals when I was at the factory. Like, just give me 9 pairs. Oh, Darrell says, shh. Shooter McGurkin says, Cam, great meeting you at Pours Bottle Show. I was the guy on the leg scooter. Ha ha. Yeah, man. That was a good hang. Clay, I know how rough marching cymbal lines are on their equipment. 9 pairs won't last a season. Clay, like, funny enough you should say that. Some of the best... So, what's nice is the guy that is my rep for my cymbal company, the artist rep I work with, he lives 20 minutes away. He is also, like, I've grown up knowing who he is in Columbus. He's like, somewhat famous in the area for teaching and writing music, and he's been the VP of different companies, and he's bounced around a little bit, and everywhere he goes, he does, like, ridiculously good things. Anyways, his name's Mark Reynolds, and he's really into bourbon too, which is cool. So he not only is like the artist rep guy now at Sabian, but he's also the guy that writes all of the Ohio State drumline stuff and teaches the Ohio State drumline, which is like a crazy enough job as it is, but it's just like his side hustle, or just side gig. And so he went down to Spirit of Atlanta because Sabian is, they sponsor Spirit of Atlanta, and Santa Clara Vanguard didn't come out this year. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just give me like 1 more minute. But because Santa Clara didn't come out, Sabian was like, well, let's, we're going to like, let's go check out Spirit. And Santa Clara is usually like the star line for Sabian. And so anyways, because they didn't come out, they refreshed all Spirit of Atlanta's gear this year. And Spirit of Atlanta sent back all of these cymbals, but they were the highest tier, like top of the line cymbals, but they had marched them on the field. So they had seen many summers out in the sun, and cymbals out in the sun, they start to age very quickly. And it's like whiskey, like they get better with age. Cymbals do. The metal loosens up. When you play them a bunch, everything loosens up. They get softer when you play them. And so, like, he brought back all of these cymbals and just let me have my pick of these cymbals that had been, like, accelerated in their aging process. Typically, as percussionists, we pay, like, if there's a cymbal from, like, the 40s, you can pay thousands of dollars for cymbals from the 40s. And I have a couple pairs of cymbals from that era, and they're ridiculous. They're nothing like what's made today, similar to whiskey. But to have my pick over these cymbals that have spent many, many years out in the sun, being marched, beaten to shit, and sound incredible, that was a really cool thing that happened a couple months ago. And then we went to the factory together, and I got to pick out even more. Amy, it's exactly like a heat-cycled rickhouse. Exactly like it. The cymbals develop this patina to them. The most important thing is that they soften up. Like, cymbals can be really thick, really thin. That doesn't impact how soft they play. And that's a totally different concept of, hitting pieces of metal together. They feel soft as opposed to feeling stiff. That can also have to do with how you lathe it. When the cymbal's on the lathe and you're you put the metal piece in there and you're trimming some of the cymbal off on the lathe. If you lathe from, I believe it's inside out, you add tension to the cymbal. And if you lathe from the outer to the inner part of the cymbal, you reduce tension and make it softer. It's crazy. And then they hand hammer, they're hand hammering these cymbals. These guys in the factory in Canada take them to the lathe. the whole thing was insane. Texas whiskey has symbols, yeah. Toshi, get out of here, bro. Oh, jeez. Travis, no, I never marched DCA. Durrell says, I definitely remember the leg scooter. Yeah, anyways, cymbals are like, of all of the percussion instruments to play, I think cymbals are probably the most difficult in an orchestral sense. Like, of course, playing four-mallet marimba is very challenging, but there's something about some of these instruments, like cymbals, that is so, you can't quantify or describe exactly what you're doing. Everybody's like, just watch me do it. Think of the sound and just do this. It's so hard to quantify because there's too many variables. Anyways, sorry to nerd out about cymbals. Triangle is a little less complicated. Bass drum is surprisingly complicated sometimes. Yeah. Texas whiskey of cymbals. So story time very quickly about Old Charter. You guys know that Matt did Beagle Rare, which was the very first kind of community infinity bottle that was passed around. What is Amy saying? Who else would love to see a four pour in Cam lecture about a percussion instrument? I don't think I've ever lectured about an instrument after drinking. I had a lesson earlier with I only have one. I have one regular student. I don't teach. You know, I taught the fall semester at my alma mater. But at this point, it's basically like if a student in Columbus has a very specific goal, it could be a high school student that wants to get into a particular college, or a college student that wants to go to a particular master's program. I'll teach them, but otherwise I don't teach to collect a paycheck. I don't like doing that. Like, oh, you didn't practice? Fine. And give me your $60, $80, whatever. Cool. I'll tell you to practice more. I don't like doing that. If it's not the right student, I just tell them I'm not going to teach them, and I'm just honest about it. Because it's like, I don't want to waste your time and take your money if you're not going to do the work. Anyways, I had a lesson earlier with my student who's awesome. And he's trying to get into my alma mater for my master's program, which is a super, super hard program to get into, and I'm hoping we can get him in next year. But anyways, yeah, it was like a 2-hour kind of lecture about just sound, and I feel bad sometimes when I go off on those tangents, but it's like whiskey, you go deep on some of these things. All right. Here's the deal. Old Charter. Beagle Rare was first. Dram Hound won the auction for the Beagle Rare that was fixed by Dixon Dedman. I think it was like a 200 milliliter bottle, so very small. Old Charter came next, and this was Team Dan and Team Sean, and I was on Team Dan. I think I was the last draft pick, and Jason was the second to last for Team Sean, I believe. So the drummers were last. And this was 2 years ago. This was more than 2 years ago that this started. And I ended up getting Old Charter, and we all shot videos for it. And let me think about this. We all shot videos for it. I didn't have this room at the time. I was in, like, this room was still my white walled office space that I was shooting in. I don't know who had it before. Oh, Curiosity Public had it before me for Team Dan. They sent it to me with some Curiosity Public swag, which was cool. And this was the bottle that Dan poured 3 or 4 ounces of honeydew the Garrison Brothers Honeydew 80 proof shit. Poured it into here. And then I poured, I can't, if it was 3 ounces, it was 3 Dusties. If it's 4 ounces, it was 4 Dusties. But I poured like Old Granddad 83, Weller 12, 2013, and like something else. I poured maybe Chateau de la Baude. I don't know. I poured the best whiskeys I owned at the time into this bottle. And then I handed this off to Drew P. Whiskey in person when we did our barrel pick. Well, this was the Grease bottle. And Grease never, ever sent this bottle after 2+ years. He never sent this bottle along. All right? I don't know who it was supposed to go to. I don't know who had poured into it at this point. I could go back in my messages and figure this out. Travis drove this to Pours in the Park. Travis, if he's still in here. He is. There we go. He drove this to Pours in the Park. Well, both Old Charters ended up at Pours in the Park. But the other one, Team Sean, ended up getting put into the bottle share, opened, and completely killed, like, instantly. So it was gone. The first Old Charter, before this one, before anyone knew this was even there, besides, I think, me, I think Travis had told me, and Matt didn't even know. That first one was long gone, which sucks, right? Because we had a whole thing about it. And I'm upset not even on behalf of Matt. I'm just upset generally about the whole thing. Because it's such a cool project, and Matt made these badass labels and everything else. So then I'm like, well, Matt, that bottle's gone, dude. Like, Travis has Grease's bottle, Team Dan's bottle. And so Travis brought this out, and we just started sharing it around. But I'm pretty sure Matt went home with the Team Sean Old Charter decanter. So I ended up taking this one home. And this is still, like, the point of this, once we opened it at Pours in the Park, was like, let's kill this bottle because the other one was killed. Let's share this around with anyone who wants to taste it. We ended up not being able to kill it, you know? So I brought the rest of this home. And I think Matt has a sample of it. And obviously there's more here to go. Anyways, that's that. This bottle, I'm so happy to have this. I'm disappointed at the circumstances to have it. Because I wish those 2 bottles, we could have done all the content we wanted to do with it as a group, and we could have shared it around to everybody that participated, but that first bottle got opened and it got killed, and that really fucking sucks. Then, looking back to Beagle Rare, when I arrived at Pours in the Park, Matt, like, we all drove down from the Junkies up in, like 2 hours north. We did a hang the night before at Virtue. We came down at different times to the hotel, and Matt texted me. He goes, "Come to my room." So I came to Matt's room, and he had two glasses poured out, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" He's just like, take a look at those type thing, and I'm like, "You want me to just smell it or like taste them?" Because there was not very much left in the glasses, and he's like, "No, taste them." So I'm smelling them back and forth. Some of them one of them had a really dusty note. Then I go to the other one, and it's bigger, richer. I said it smelled and tasted like it was double-barreled. And usually when I say that, I'm like thinking about Dixon Dedman and what he does with Kentucky Owl, or what he did with it. And then Matt goes, "These are Beagle Rare." The first one, which was dusty smelling, is the original blend. The 1 ounce of the original blend that was left. And then the other one is the 200 milliliter bottle, a pour from the 200 milliliter bottle, which Dixon had fixed blending, which is the one I said smelled double barreled, probably because he threw in some of the old Kentucky Owl stocks. So apparently Adam Dramhound had come down and shared those pours with Matt, the original Beagle Rare, and then the updated version from Dixon that he had actually won in the auction. And Matt shared that shit with me blind, which was so incredible. So that last ounce of the original Bigarro, not after Dixon touched it, the original one. That was probably the last ounce of that existed. And I left the remainder, one sip left for Matt. And then the 200 milliliter was the one that Dram Hound opened up at Pours in the Park, shared it with Matt, obviously, and then Matt shared it with me. But I'm pretty sure they killed that. Like, Adam shared that with everybody, that he wanted to share it with at the event, and I think it's gone now. So, very, very special. All right, what's up? Joe saying, Cam, last night I got a Bardstown single barrel pick from the Bourbon Club here in Indy that you've had before. Same mash bills when you haven't. Yes, it's better than the other ones I have. Of course it is. That Barrel Club, Naptown, is insane. They have probably the most, I don't taste all the picks. The ones I've tasted, between all of those, it's the most consistently good barrel picks I have ever had from a whiskey club. It's incredible. You need to try Lone Elm Honey Batch 9. Seems like they're all Batch 9, but it has a heavy honey influence. Interesting. I've never heard of that. I'm scrolling down. Joe, I'll come down and help you kill it. I might need that, dude. Like, this is the thing about the old Charter, is I thought about doing, like, throwing this into a giveaway, but what I don't want to do with this is I don't want to make money on it because it's not mine. So like when I think about doing a giveaway for the old Charter, it's like I could just randomly sprinkle it into some giveaways and not advertise it, because I don't want to advertise this as an incentive for people to contribute to a giveaway and me make money on that, because it's not mine. I have to think about it a little bit more, because the point of this bottle, once the other one was opened at the bottle share and killed, the point of this bottle then, because you can't compare it or send it to the right folks, is just to share it with the community and like allow people to try this. So that, to me, that's the point of it. That's what we did with it at Pours. We didn't kill it, so let's do it with others who didn't get a chance to try it. But it's like, how do I organize that? I don't really know. Oh, higher proof than honeydew, says Jeb. Okay, Lone Elm is a Texas whiskey. All right. Amy hopped up on Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey. Just kidding, BS. Team Cam over Team Dan. All right, Clay. Good night, dude. Thanks for being here. It's probably nighttime for me, too. I'm feeling the whiskey. Want to keep it frosty. I got to go pick up a 2017 Michter's Toasted Barrel Rye tomorrow. So I'm excited for that. And this is all Amy's fault. Amy says, whatever happened with the community blend you did? Let me see if I still have some. I still have this, Amy. 55.3295% ABV. I kept the running log of, everything that went into this bottle. This is the final version. Probably it's a 200 milliliter flask. I don't know, probably 60 milliliters left. Pretty a lighter color than you would expect for this. And there's a lot of particles suspended in this, like, strangely. Kind of interesting. I'll taste it, Amy. Let's make this the last pour of the night. Jeb, it's absolutely Amy's fault. The sample I received was, yeah, it's so good. So many of you that are hanging out, I really can't believe we still have 71. That's crazy. some of you may or may not know that this may have been 18 months ago or 2 years ago. We did a kind of a running community blend throughout the various Drums and Drams live streams where people, it's a weird system, and I still feel kind of like, I don't know about guilty might be the word, because people would basically super chat all at once to then suggest the next part of a blend. So they're paying money for me to put my own whiskey in a blend that they are then entered to win. It was not a perfect system, and I don't know what a perfect system would be for it, which is why I haven't done it again. Also, I'm inconsistent. But this is the remaining final blend. And I can't remember who won that final blend. I think it might have been Jay. I have to go back and look. Or if I had two winners. I would definitely have to go back and look. But they would select which of my whiskeys would go into this blend, and I would tell them every week what the blend was tasting like so far and what I thought it could maybe do with or maybe do without. Like, hey, this is really dark fruit, but I love that about it. Let's accentuate the dark fruit, and then someone would select, let's say, Stag Junior. I don't know. It was an interesting experiment, though. I kind of enjoyed it. Actually, I really enjoyed it. I just felt guilty about the financial aspect of it. But let's try it. 55.3295% ABV. No, it's not great. There's so many whiskeys in here. It's not great. Toshi is spending money tonight. Oh my god, dude. I love it. So, this is like apples and pears on the nose. So for a community blend where people were selecting some crazy shit to go in here, by the way. It's like cinnamon apple, cinnamon pear. It's kind of green and sappy, almost a little light whiskey quality to it. Not sure if there was light whiskey in the blend. I'd have to go back and look. I don't know if I even still have the app that I used to calculate what went into this blend. Hard to tell. I actually think I kept a Google Drive doc of this. Let me see if I can pull it up very quickly. Drums and Drams downloads. No, that's not going to be it. I thought I had... You know what? It could be under a different account in my Gmail Drive. Because if I can screen share this with you guys, I think it would be kind of cool for you to see. Yeah, there it is. Infinity Bottle Spring 2021. So this was 2 years ago. 2.5. Almost. Okay. Wow, look at this. This is like some old school stuff at this point. All right. So I'll zoom in a bit. It helped me read it too. So here's the bottle. Okay. So you can see the dates that we added to it, and then we did the final raffle. Everything was 30 milliliter pours that went into this. So my initial pours, I don't know how I chose these. So Redwood American, Stag Junior 14, Bardstown Disco 3, 15-year store pick, and Chatty Port Cask finish. And then on the live stream, we added all of these pours, right? Look at this. We had some OG Chateau de la Baude from DC. I mean, Masters Keep 17 bottle and there were some heavy hitters getting added in. And then we would pour out, and then I would say, like, here's the giveaway winners. And then we would pour out 4 ounces of it at a time for those winners, 2 and 2. And then here's literally all of my flavor notes for the whiskey that I would give out. And then we would add on to it with that in mind. And then here's pouring samples from this bottle. So this is the running log of everything. So at this point, we poured out 4 or 5, 6, 7 ounces at a time. Oh, wow. Yeah. And then we were adding these all back in. So we kept doing this. So I don't have a final inventory of everything that was in there. That was in an app on my phone, an infinity bottle app that I had. But this document shows, like, you know, on Thursday, May 13th, we added Disco 4, Rare Breed, Bellmead Reserve, Uncut Unfiltered, Sam 14, Stag 15, 1910. Pretty crazy. The palate on this Infinity Blend is very good. The nose is a little bit light. It smells a little bit like Young MGP, which is a shame knowing that there's like Chateau de la Barre in here and, you know, so many other things. What does Jeb saying here? Toshi's collection is generational at this point. I'm the only one downsizing. Can't wait to get to 0. Damn, Darrell's 8-year-old forced me blinds. He enjoys it. That is hilarious. Toshi, man, that's funny. All right, well, is that it? Are we done? I think we're probably done. I don't know if we're going to make it to midnight, Jeb. But I think that's okay. Amy, I just acquired a Michter's barrel strength rye, but it's a 2016. Basically, my goal right now is to try all of the old expressions of the Michter's barrel strength products and toasted products that I don't like. I love Michter's 10 rye and bourbon. They vary year to year, but excuse me, by and large, they're like awesome. And knowing from you, you know, that the 2017 toasted barrel rye is awesome. The thing is, like, I actually have my 2021 barrel strength bourbon is a little young tasting, but I still like it. I have a whole... We're going to get into this next week. I don't want to get into it right now. My whole, like, idea of Michter's and how it tastes and how it might relate to the sourcing / their own distillation. We can get into that next week. But I want to taste as much of their older barrel strength or toasted stuff as I can to see how it relates to today's, and if that's really the reason that there's this cult following to that stuff, even though over the years there's been so much flavor drift through the batches that some people don't even recognize that, and they still pay exorbitant prices for the stuff that 7 years ago was completely different than what it is today. First year of the barrel strength rye was 2015, so if I can get a 16, that's great. I don't know the first year of the toasted barrel rye, but 17 is clearly an incredible year based on what I tasted from Amy, so I know that's a safe bet. The only thing I need to get, I would love to get a really, like, an older toasted barrel bourbon, but a 2015 toasted barrel bourbon, which was the year that solidified that as a cult toasted bourbon, 2015 Michter's. Those are $900 on secondary now, and I can't do that. So it's like, if I could just get a sample of like a 2015, I would love to try it. I have a sample of a 2018, which is worlds better than my 2021. And then last but not least, the barrel strength bourbon, which I said I enjoy my 21. I would love to taste, I think they started in 17. So I'd love to taste a 17 or 18 barrel strength Michter's bourbon. Because I want to be able to, like, have a, like, form an entire opinion or a hypothesis about all of that stuff. Jason, thoughts on Evan Williams single barrel vintages? Have one and fell in love. I've had some older stuff, and I really like it. The newer stuff is just, I mean, it's good. It's because of how much water they put into it and the barrel selection that goes into it, typically more oak notes on that. Some people shy away from it because it's so watery. And the oak can get really intense at that low of a proof with barrel selection and decent age. I like the stuff, but I think if you can find maybe some older vintages, you're really going to be enjoying it. Travis. Don't tell Sarah that. Or maybe tell Sarah that. Jeb, you're pressuring me, bro. All right. One more small pour of water into this infinity blend, and then we're going to call it a night. Amy, I feel about 10% better about asking for samples than I used to, but I still like people will, people offer to send me samples. They'll send me an email or comments or whatever. And I'm like, you can send it if you want, but I feel bad. I mean, but that's just kind of how I am as a person, I just, like, anything anybody does for me, I feel very guilty about. And it's not that I'm not appreciative. I just feel extremely guilty about it. And it's almost, in some ways, that's like selfish because I'm like making it about me that I feel guilty about it. I don't know if it's something I got to break about myself or whatever, but I'm just that way. A little water in this infinity blend is much better. Jason, I have a 2011. Jason, a 2011 what? Michter, is it a... See, this is the other thing I don't know. I don't know the origin years of the toasted bourbon. I guess that I could probably look that up. The toasted bourbon or the toasted rye. The first barrel strength rye was 15, and the first barrel strength bourbon was even later, like 17. But I don't know the toasted, which the rye is barrel strength toasted, but the bourbon is watered down toasted. So, Jason, what is your 2011? That would have to be a toasted bourbon? Oh, you're talking about Evan Williams, right. Sorry. I'm mixed up here. 2011, I think I had an 03 vintage Evan Williams, which was very, very good. I think that's the oldest I've had. I've never had a pre-fire. 96. But I'm sure the 2011 is pretty darn good. All right. Jeb, I'm out of here, bro. Long night. Next week, we'll do the Hardens Creek, Claremont, and Frankfurt. We can put it next to the Jacob's Well, which I finally had to get a bottle of because it's just so freaking good. I will have the Virtue Rye 1, which I am telling you is one of the craziest rye whiskeys I've ever drank in my entire life. I'm not saying that because I like Dan and Sean. I'm saying it because it's almost black. It's almost opaque. The whiskey is so dark. It tastes crazy. And there will be samples being given away next week of that. So the Virtue Rye, the 2 Hardens Creek. What else? What else is going to get here? I'm not opening the Ezra. So those are probably the special pours next week on the live stream. That's probably it. And then we'll just kind of free ball it from there, and maybe I'll do this Prideful Goat 15-year that Jimmy sent, among other things. So that's it, guys. Cheers. Thank you for being here. Did I kill all of... No, there it is. Coy Hill, Jack Daniel's 12 blend, 57% Coy Hill, 43% Jack 12 for you, Jeb. I'm going to end it with this. Amy, I would love to bring her on for that. That's a great idea. And just so I don't forget it, I will write that idea down. Because it would be awesome to open up that other Blanton's also on the stream. Dude, Darrell, that rye's crazy, isn't it? It's so unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Yeah, Amy, we should do that. We should do that. All right, guys, thank you for all the support, for hanging out tonight. I'll see you next Thursday. I'll see you before next Thursday on some pre-recorded videos. 1, if not 2 before then. Looking forward to it. I'm so excited to be doing this thing again in earnest, not bullshitting and all that stuff. So thank you again. Cheers. 57%, 43% blend for you, Jeb. I'm out. Cheers, guys.